Welcome to Horror Bois. It's a podcast on the internet. I'm Austin, joined as always by
Chris.
Yeah, and we're the Horror Bois, as the name of the podcast makes
implies.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And every week. Oh, wait, no, I screwed up my bit. No, oh gosh, but this isn't any old podcast on this old internet. No. This is a horror movie review podcast where every week we review a horror movie.
Yeah.
Yeah. I got it around. I fixed it.
It came back around.
Hey guys, I fixed it. I got the no in, so we're good. We'll only do that probably like 5 more times throughout the podcast because that's the newest bit.
Yeah. We'll find a new bit, don't worry.
No promises.
Yeah.
Because a lot of our old bits are still here. We just keep adding them. Eventually this podcast will only be bits.
Just
it'll be a bit
hour and a half long
into a bit. No. They played harmonica with Billy's mother. Yeah, I mean, Nancy Loomis was okay looking.
Well, she's dead now, so if you.
Oh, you know, that's fair. That's fair. That would be.
He is now a corpse.
That would be gross. Yeah, that's fair. Okay, let's get to the movie. Scream 6 is what we watched today / yesterday. Is what we're covering. Is what I meant to say. But yep. Okay, Scream 6. Jeez. I don't know why my energy's off. It's not like we're recording late or anything. This is just a normal afternoon. Like
now we're recording too early and we're not awake yet.
That's
we both wake up at noon.
How dare you? I woke up at like 11:30. Texted you. Went back to sleep till 12:30.
So you woke up at noon.
No. Alright, yeah, so our directors are the Horror Boy alums Matt Bettinelli-Olpin and Tyler Gillette, who were here on Scream 2022. They're returning. Alongside the third member of Radio Silence, Chad Villella? I had trouble with his name last time. Yeah, thank you, Chris. Chris has notes now, so if I screw something up, he can fix me.
Yeah, I can read names.
Woo! Who's one of our executive producers on this, along with Kevin Williamson of Scream 1, 2, and 4. I don't know how much involvement he had, like, with helping anything, but, you know, I'm glad Kevin Williamson at least probably got a payday out of this, because it's Kevin Williamson, and he's awesome. He also technically gets a writing credit of characters based by, I don't know, you know, if people make money off of that. I don't know how that works. I'm not a Hollywood exec, so...
What?
I know. A lot of people thought I was, but I'm not. Our writers of the movie are also, you know, Horror Boy alums because they worked on Scream 2022, because everyone's returning, basically. We got James Vanderbilt and Guy Busick.
Yeah, which for a second I read is Guy Bisquick.
No, it's Busick.
It does make a lot more sense that he's not named after a instant biscuit mix.
Fair enough. Composers are Sven Falconer of Top Gun Maverick, Black Widow, and Falcon and the Winter Soldier, and the returning Horror Boy alum Brian Tyler of the Final Destination 5, and Scream 2022. Our director of photography is Horror Boy alum Brett You can give this name, actually. I'll let you have it.
It's clearly Brett Jet Kaiwicz.
All right, yeah, I'll take it. Of Scream 2022. I just want to see this. This is one of those moments where I'm actually really happy that the notes are now in front of Chris, because now when I have trouble with a name, he can understand why I have trouble with a lot of these names. Like, there's nothing wrong with people having different names. I'm not like some weird xenophobe. It's just I don't know how to pronounce them sometimes.
Yeah, I'm like okay at pronouncing names that I don't really have any business knowing of.
Our production designer is Michelle Lalibert. Our special makeup effects supervisor is Adrian Morit of Warm Bodies, Mother, with an exclamation point, M3gan, Martyrs, Slenderman, Pet Cemetery 2019, Truth or Dare. Oh, and is a Horror Boy alum for his work on Cult of Chucky.
Nice.
Yeah. Our special effects supervisor is Guillaume Murray of Riddick, X-Men Days of Future Past, X-Men Apocalypse, X-Men Dark Phoenix, Transformers Rise of the Beasts, and John Wick Chapter 2. You know, he was part of the best X-Men trilogy.
I feel like that might be Guillaume.
It
Maybe.
might be.
That feels
Our
right.
stunt coordinator is Alexandre Cardu. Or Cadu. Cadu? I put an R there. It's not there. Yeah.
Yeah.
I knew how to pronounce the French IEUX, but I messed up by throwing a letter that wasn't in there for no reason. The hard part of that name, I got right. But and our digital visual effects are done by DNEG and Redefine FX Limited. All right, we got through the pre-notes, and yeah, we're gonna move on now. We're gonna go to the movie now. Does that sound like a good idea, Chris? Do you want to move on to the movie?
Yeah, I think I'm alright with it.
Okay. We open with a phone ringing and being picked up by a restaurant hostess. She's played by Chanel Mings. And it doesn't actually matter this film call, but it's like a fake out
Not at all.
to open it. But, you know, I had to
Yeah,
mention
that's
it.
not Ghostface.
Yeah, no. We pan over to Laura, waiting at the bar for her date. Laura is played by Horror Bois alum Samara Weaving of Mayhem.
Yeah, very recent Horror Boy one.
That's true. She gets a message on Flirter from her date, Reggie, saying he's lost and asking if he can call. She gives him a thumbs up and her phone rings. She answers and it's Ghostface. Wait, sorry, it's Reggie. My bad. Got a little excited there. Reggie is voiced by Tony Revolori, who plays Flash Thompson in the Tom Holland Spider-Man trilogy. After some pleasantries, he mentions that he's only been in the city for a few months. Laura says she's also new to the city. He apologizes for not being even on the right street yet and says, "This is not the first impression I want to make on a college professor." Laura responds, "Oh, associate professor, and it's just film studies, so you're safe." He replies, "Oh, film studies? That's cool." She replies, "You say that, but try teaching a class on 20th century slashers to a heap of hungover 19-year-olds. Reggie responds, "Slashers, huh? What's your favorite scary movie?" He kind of does like a bad Ghostface impression. She says, "Not that one," and the movie ends because she's not a Scream fan and or Stab fan, so the movie's over, you know.
Yeah, tragic.
Reggie asks, "So why slashers?" Laura explains, well, I just, I think it's interesting. You can really examine the culture of the moment by looking at the tropes of the time." And there it is, folks. You didn't know that was coming, but Chris did know I had to sneeze, and it just happened.
Yeah. It was a canon event.
It was a canon event. You can really examine the culture of the moment by looking at the tropes of the time, like the masked killer, the final girl, the different rules, don't split up, don't play harmonica. Reggie jumps in with, "Don't answer the phone." She says, exactly. It's all cliche, but out of those cliches come an opportunity for outsider art. A voice for the voiceless, you might say. He responds with, "Yeah, I'm more of a rom-com guy." Which I respect, rom-coms are good. I mean, horror is better, but I respect a good rom-com. Yeah, I don't respect you. Don't like comedies, Chris.
Well, I don't like those comedies.
Yeah, exactly. Like I said, you don't like comedies. If you like a few here or there, that means you don't like the genre as a large. There are exceptions to every rule, but you don't like comedies.
Yeah, that's fair.
He then continues to talk about being lost and gets her to go outside to look for him. He realizes he's still a block over and says, "Oh, it looks like there's an alley I can cut through. Is the restaurant near an alley?" Laura looks and sees it is, and tells him there is. He says, "Oh, perfect. I'm coming down the alley." But Laura responds, "I don't see you." Reggie says, "Wait, really? Are you sure?" Laura crosses the street to be closer to the alley. Reggie continues, "There are some dumpsters about halfway down." She replies, "I see them, but I don't see you." He replies, "Yeah, I don't see you either." This is creepy, right? She replies, a little bit. He continues, 20th century slashers, huh? She says, yeah. Are you sure you're walking towards Hudson? He says, I'm sure. Oh, wait. I think I see you. Can you wave? She does, and says, can you see me? He responds, the person I'm looking at isn't waving. They're just staring at me. Okay, this is weird, now they're moving towards me. She asks, are you okay? And starts walking down the alleyway. He continues, poop! He's following me. She says, I don't see anybody. He continues, holy poop! He's after me. He's got a knife, and that's not the worst part. The worst part is... The voice transitions into classic Ghostface voice and says, you teach a class about slashers, and you still walked into a dark alley alone.
Yeah.
She says, okay, that's not funny. Ghostface chuckles and says, no, it's not. She gets startled by some kids screaming and then laughing down the street. Ghostface runs in and stabs her to death, finishing her off with a classic knife swipe into the title... Wait. There's no title card.
Oh.
Ghostface is taking off his mask to reveal he's not Reggie, but Jason. Jason is still played by Tony Revolori.
Yeah. Still same guy.
Yeah. But his real name is Jason.
Yeah. Jason! Not that Jason, no.
No. The iconic Ghostface voice is that of Horror Boy alum Roger L. Jackson of all the other Scream movies. Such a, I don't know about unsung hero, but just such an important part of the Scream movies is that voice. So, I want to double down giving him respect, because he's awesome.
Okay.
And then also, another thing that for some reason I haven't done in any of the other Scream movies, and I actually feel bad about it, because we've done it with, other franchises, but the Ghostface suit performer throughout the movie is stuntman and actor Max LaFerriere of Arrival, X-Men Dark Phoenix, and Warm Bodies. So, yeah. Sorry to whoever was Ghostface suit performer in 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Sorry, 1, 2, 3, 4, and Scream. My bad.
Yeah.
Excuse me. He passes Tara dressed like a pirate on the street, and they chat about a Halloween frat party that she's going to. He asks her if Sam is going, but Tara says no and leaves, saying she'll see him at the party. Tara is played by the returning Jenna Ortega.
Yippee!
Yeah, woo, yeah, woo, yeah. And apparently, her costume and the costumes of the people she's walking with at this point, sorry, and a burp, is a reference to Radio Silence's characters in the original VHS that they were part of, because they had shot us. Apparently, there was a pirate, and there's some of the other people who are in that group are also dressed like other characters that were in their VHS segment.
What a incredibly niche reference.
I mean, is it? I mean, I guess it's to their own movie, so it kind of makes sense to
It makes sense. It's just I don't know. As someone who has seen all the VHS movies, I didn't get that because I haven't watched the first VHS movie since it came out.
That's fair, but you also didn't make the movie, so I think it kind of makes sense for them to want to make a reference to their movie.
Right. No, it's a fun, if not for anyone else, at least for them.
Yeah.
Little inclusion.
Yeah.
I like that.
Where did I leave off?
It's like us doing bits that no one else can.
Yeah. Whoa. Hey. No.
No.
We're just really big fans of the Batman.
Yeah.
That I've never seen.
I have something in the way.
All right, back to the movie.
Yeah, so anyways, because we have a lot of notes.
Yeah, just a little bit. Just a little more than everything else ever before. When Jason gets home, he calls out for Greg, but no answer. So he returns his Ghostface suit to the Ghostface shrine in the closet, as we all have. Mine's right there.
Right.
I mean, no. Yeah. In the kitchen, right before he opens the fridge, he gets a phone call. It's Greg! Wait, no, it's actually Ghostface. And then I'm also going to mention here that I am putting that bit on pause for the rest of the movie because, it would get annoying if I did it every time a phone called.
Because there will be a lot of phone calls and a lot of just actually ghost faces.
Yeah. So I did a fake out, with the, it's not Ghostface earlier when it, actually, spoiler, was. Not spoiler, I already said that. But technically it was Ghostface. But now I did I flipped it on its head, bro. And now I'm done. Because there's nothing else there's no other way to make it interesting to do that bit again. So it is done. I think. I don't know. I might throw one more at the very end or something just to swerve all of you. I don't remember, honestly. Jason starts to say, I'm sorry. Okay, I just got massive blue. Insert musical replacement euphemism.
Yeah. And he really got musical blockage.
Yeah.
Yeah, he had a creative block.
yeah. And I had to practice. Please don't be mad. How mad are you? Ghostface answers, oh, I'm not mad, Jason. Jason says, dude, we said we wouldn't use the voice on each other. Ghostface says, we said a lot of things. Jason asks, this is Greg, right? Ghostface chuckles and says, who else would it be? Jason says, where are you? I want to tell you about it. Oh, by the way, we should go to that frat party. Tara's going. Ghostface asks, what was it like? Jason replies, not on the phone, man. And seriously, turn off the obscenitying voice modulator. Ghostface replies, I'm just trying to get the voice right. You got to have your practice. I get mine. Just tell me what it felt like. Then maybe I'll come out. Jason says, dude, I know you're not here. Ghostface says, humor me. Jason sits down to watch Jason Takes Manhattan, like you do. And says, alright, fine. It's even better than we ever could have imagined. He then describes it with joy and in detail that I feel like if I quoted would get us in trouble on YouTube. So I'm just going to... Yeah, that's all you get to know. He goes in depth and way too passionate that I feel like even if I was just reading it, YouTube would be like, nah, he sounds like he's a killer. So I'm not going to say it.
I'll go put this guy on a watch list.
Yeah. But just know the important things he says. He describes Laura as just an animal and a piece of meat.
Yeah.
So that's important for later.
Keep that in mind.
Yeah. Ghostface says, but she wasn't just meat, Jason. She was a person. Our film professor. Jason replies, yeah, well, obscenity her. She gave me a C- on my Giallo paper. Because that's what's important in life.
Yeah.
Ghostface says, is that why you killed her? Because of the C-? Who's next? Your grade school vice principal? Jason says, you know who's next. Why are you being like this? Ghostface says, come on, Jason. How long have we known each other? Jason replies, you tell me. And gets up looking around the room. Ghostface replies, 8 years. We met in junior high in Atlanta. I want you to tell me why you think you're doing this. In your words. Jason replies, we're finishing Richie's film. Ghostface says, that's right, by killing Sam and Tara. Jason asks, why are you obsceniting with me? Why won't you tell me where you are? Ghostface says, why do you keep asking me that? I already told you. I'm here. Let's play a game. Then they play warmer, colder until Jason goes up to the fridge and finds Greg's mutilated body. And then is attacked from behind and stabbed repeatedly by Ghostface, who says, do you feel like an animal, Jason? Like meat? Jason says, but we have to finish the movie. Ghostface says, who gives an obscenity about movies? And he finishes him off with a classic slash into the title card. Yay, we got it!
Yay, title card.
The other one was a fake out. Whoa, crazy. Genuinely, I will pause here to say that I love this opening scene. I love the way they subvert your expectations of not doing the title card earlier, because it's set up in that same way and you're like, oh, okay. And then you see Ghostface and you're like, are we gonna know who one of the Ghostfaces are throughout this whole movie? That's a weird twist or something. I think it wasn't that, which is fine, but it was a cool whoa. When I was watching this theater, I just got quiet after we saw it. So what's going on? My brain was going, what's going on? Oh, we're not supposed to know who Ghostface is.
For those of you who forgot, me and Austin saw this together in theaters.
That's right. With our number one fan of the podcast.
Very often. Yeah, that's true, actually.
Yeah, it is.
And I'm sorry, But no matter how much money you put into the Patreon, we probably will not be watching any of our movies in theaters.
Oh, yeah. Sorry, yeah, you have to be my father for that to
Yeah, be
happen.
Austin's dad.
But you can give us money on Patreon and take the title of our number one fan away from him. I'll take it away from him. I don't care. Greg's corpse is played by the uncredited Tom Newell, who was an editor who's worked on Radio Silence's previous work, Southbound, as well as Your Next, VHS 2, 94, and 99. So, all the VHS movies except for the one that they actually worked on. But, yeah. He's also an HBA, which is a Horror Bois alum. I forgot that as I was reading that, but yeah, that's what it means. I normally don't say HBA, but that's what it always is in my notes. Sorry, everyone. For his work on the editorial department of the Chucky TV series. Woo!
Oh,
yeah.
nice.
We get some establishing shots of New York City before cutting to Sam and her therapist's house. Sam is played by the returning Melissa Beretta. Well, I'm going to pause right here to talk about Melissa. In the last time we talked about this movie, I was very negative on her. I want to start off saying she does an amazing job in this movie. And also want to just... Even if I wasn't a fan of... And here's the thing. I don't think she ever saw our podcast. I don't think she's ever going to see this one where I'm apologizing. But apparently she got a lot of crap on the internet. And I feel bad that I was at all even kind of part of that. Did I love her performance in the last movie? No, but that doesn't matter. So I apologize. If she ever sees this, I do apologize. There's like lines written later in this movie that are kind of like mentioning how much crap she went through in a way. Like, so, yeah, I'm sorry. You're never gonna see this, but I feel bad when I heard how much like crap you went through. I was like, oh, I didn't know that. I just didn't think she had a great performance. My bad. I shouldn't have been rude on the internet. I don't remember how rude I was, but just in case, hey, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I think you do a really good job in this movie. Spoiler for the rest of the movie. Her therapist is Dr. Christopher Stone, who is played by Henry Czerny of Mission Impossible, Pink Panther, Ready or Not, and Clear and Present Danger, alongside Horror Bois alums Greg German of Child's Play 2, Ted Raimi of Wishmaster, and the late Hope Lange of Nightmare on Elm Street 2, Freddy's Revenge.
And Willem
Dafoe of The Lighthouse. Sorry, I got confused with the way that was written. I thought I was then also talking about The Lighthouse. Like, why am I bringing up The Lighthouse? Was he also in The Lighthouse? My brain just... I got broke there, guys. He's also in the... Yeah, there's a lot of people in Clear and Present Danger, apparently, so...
Yeah.
Woo! Dr. Stone asks how the new meds are treating her. Sam replies, okay, I think. Still not seeing anyone I shouldn't be. What I'm really worried about, though, is Tara. Dr. Stone says, what I'm really worried about is you. You've been coming here for 6 months now, and all we've really spoken about is how your sister isn't dealing with whatever happened to both of you a year ago. Now, you've alluded to an abusive relationship, issues with your father, but every time I push you for specifics, you shut down. Sam says, I have trust issues. Which, fair.
Yeah, well.
Her boyfriend a year ago was a murderer.
Yeah.
Who was only her boyfriend because he wanted to kill her.
Well, a little bit messed up.
Yeah, a little bit. I kind of understand having a little bit of trust issues after that. Fair enough. Dr. Stone says, okay, if I'm going to help you, I need you to give me the details. Sam says, okay, my father was Billy Loomis. He was a famous serial killer. They made a movie about him. Dr. Stone responds, yeah, certainly did. Sam continues, last year I found out that my boyfriend was also a serial killer and only dating me because he idolized my father. Him and his psycho girlfriend killed a bunch of people, and when it got out that I'm Billy's daughter... No, I should have read that like Billy's daughter. Dang it. No,
Billy's daughter!
Thank you, Chris, for saving the bit. I screwed up. This crazy rumor started online that I orchestrated the whole thing and framed them. She shows him posts on the subreddit Woodsboro Truther about her being a monster and Richie being innocent. She continues. Richie was my boyfriend. Dr. Stone says, but you didn't. Sam replies, of course not. He almost killed my sister and me. before I stopped him. Dr. Stone asks, okay, and how did you stop him? Sam replies, well, I stabbed him 22 times and slit his throat. And then I shot him in the head. But that's not why I'm here.
Uh,
I love this movie, honestly, man.
But that's not why I'm here.
Yeah, Dr. Stone says, I think we're done here. Sam says, what? No, you said give you the details. I'm just... Well, Dr. Stone interrupts. I'm not equipped...
Whoa.
What?
You skipped a whole sequence of lines.
Did I?
Yeah, she says, that's not why I'm here. And he's like, why are you
Oh,
here?
yeah, you're right.
And then she says, because it felt right.
Yeah, you're right.
And then he freaks out.
And then he freaks out.
Understandably so.
My bad. See, this is why Chris is here, guys.
Yeah.
Dr. Stone interrupts. I'm not equipped to deal with this kind of thing. Sam replies, please, Dr. Stone, I'm asking for your help. Dr. Stone says, by law, I'm required to report this to the authorities. Sam replies, report it? Report what? I didn't say I was going to do anything. Dr. Stone says, not explicitly, no. Sam starts to get up and leave and says, you know what? Forget it. You're just like all the others. Aww. Oh. Poor crazy Sam can't get the help she needs.
Yeah. She is understandably traumatized, but yeah, it's a little bit of tact. You could have stopped it. You know, I stabbed him.
I don't know, it's Scream, man. She had to do all that or he would have come back.
Yeah. So.
The villains also have plot armor to, have to get killed like 3 times. So
Oh no, I wasn't talking about. I was talking about when she was talking to her therapist.
Yeah, but she wanted to tell him the actual issue was because she doesn't think that was a problem. It was the fact that she, felt it was right was the problem.
Oh, you're right.
On her way home, Sam walks past police outside an apartment building, possibly Jason and Greg's. It's never said explicitly, but I feel like that's the implication. She calls Tara, but doesn't get an answer. Once home, she unlocks her multiple locks and calls out for Tara, but gets no response. She hears a thudding noise, but it just ends up being the sound of some harmonica playing between Sam and Tara's roommate, Quinn, and not Paul. Quinn tells Sam that Tara went out to the frat party. Sam is mad and is about to leave to get Tara armed with Tara's taser, but stops at the window and looks at a cute boy who's shirtless across the street. Quinn tries to encourage her to talk to him, but Sam says she's not ready for any romantic interactions. Quinn is played by Liana Liberato, of To the Bone, Banana Split, and Haunt, alongside Horror Bois alums the late Jared Phillips of Hereditary, Brian Wimmer of Nightmare on Elm Street 2, Freddy's Revenge, and Jackie Weaver of The Voices.
The Voices.
And now this next person, I will be honest, I don't know if it's this character, the voice we hear here, or it's a character we see later who is played by this person, but just in case, Paul 2.0 is played by, I don't know if they're supposed to be the same person or not. So, Paul 2.0, whichever person that is played by Matthew. You can take a crack at that one.
I'm going to go with Gufrida.
Sounds great. Cute boy, Danny, is played by Josh Segura of Trainwreck and Arrow, alongside Horror Bois alums Mike Dopude of Final Destination 5, Lexa Doig of Jason X and Chucky Season 1, and Katie Cassidy of Nightmare on Elm Street 010. I mean, technically there's an O there.
Yeah,
it's 2010, as everyone says. Yeah. Calls that year.
Historically known as 2010, yeah.
Good old 2010, as everyone calls it.
Like a room number.
Yeah, everyone's favorite Nightmare on Elm Street film. No?
Well, actually.
What?
Funny you say that. I don't know if that's the case, actually.
Oh, I thought you were about to say, you knew someone who actually did think it was their favorite. The way you, started delivering, I was like, wait, what? Do you actually know someone whose favorite Nightmare on Elm Street is 2010? Because here's the thing. I'm a Nightmare on Elm Street 2010 apologist. I say, I think it was okay. Which is the spicy take of, I didn't hate it. Most people did.
That's how you know a movie's really bad, is if it's a spicy take to say, yeah,
Yeah, it was
it's okay.
alright, I guess. I
It's
don't know, it
alright.
was a movie.
I didn't hate it.
I liked a couple parts of it, but then a lot of it was really rough. Yeah, fair enough. But no, that's a spicy take. You have to hate that movie.
Yeah.
You also have
Nothing
to hate
but
Jason
pure
X
vitriol.
and Nightmare on Elm Street 2. All of these movies are movies you're not supposed to like because they weren't liked when they came out.
Yeah.
Yeah. But spoiler, I love Jason X, and I also love Nightmare on Elm Street 2. I don't love Nightmare on Elm Street 2010, though.
Yeah, fair.
We cut to the frat party. We see Mindy sitting on a couch with her girlfriend, Annika. Mindy is played by the returning Jasmine Savoy Brown. Annika is played by Devin Nakota. Annika says, "It doesn't bother you being at a house party after you were almost brutally murdered at a house party?" Mindy replies, "No, I think of it like being struck by lightning. The odds of it happening twice to the same person are extremely low." You know, it's fair, honestly.
I don't know if that's necessarily true at all.
Annika replies, "Huh. Guess I should stay close to you." And then they cuddle. Oh, isn't that cute? They laugh and cuddle. Not launch. I don't know why I wrote launch, Chris.
They launch.
They launch. They launch into space and then they cuddle.
Yeah.
We then see a drunk Tara meet frat boy Frankie, who is a frat boy. Frankie is dressed like what's the actor's name? Tom Cruise from Risky Business. Didn't realize that until there's a line later where they call him that, and I don't think I actually wrote down that line because it was during like a moment where a bunch of people were just screaming back and forth at each other, so I didn't think it mattered. But yeah, he's actually dressed like Tom Cruise from Risky Business. I thought he was just a dude, wearing a not caring about Halloween party and just wearing a dress shirt, but apparently he is wearing like underwear and socks. I just didn't notice.
Fair.
Who tells her they're out of beer. Frankie is played by Andre Anthony. They head to the kitchen to look for some harder drinks. Frankie asks Tara where she's from. She lies and says Michigan. He then invites her up to his room because he has a bottle of Fireball. She thinks for a second and says, "Obscenity it. Yeah, go." Annika and Mindy see Tara walking off with Frankie and leap into action. Annika goes over... Sorry?
No one should ever have to have a that kind of night with a bottle of Fireball.
I don't think that was the reason that they jumped into that. It wasn't the Fireball. It was the fact that she was obviously drunk and being taken advantage of.
Because every time somebody mentions Fireball, then she'll have to think of that experience of Frankie.
Okay.
Because everyone always talks about Fireball.
Okay. I don't know where you're going with this. Okay. Sure.
That's just a fact of life.
Everyone's
had a bad experience with Fireball.
Oh, okay. So
except for me, because I haven't drinking Fireball.
Oh. That's actually kind of surprising me that you've never, tried Fireball. That doesn't matter. I don't really care. Actually, what I'm trying to say, Chris, is we're going to get a bottle of Fireball.
Okay.
And we're going to have a horrible night.
Awesome.
She thinks for a second... Oh, I already said that. Mindy, they jump into action. Annika goes over and asks Tara if she's ready to call it a night. Tara tells Annika, "No, dude, Annika, I'm not that bad, but I appreciate you looking out for me." We cut to Chad dancing with his roommate, Ethan. Chad is played by the returning Mason Gooding. Ethan is played by Jack Champion of Fern Gully, The Way of Water.
Huh.
That's what it's called, right? Just came out last year, Fern Gully, Way of Water.
Oh, Avatar Way of Water.
What?
Yeah, you could have called it Pocahontas Way of Water, Fern Gully Way of Water.
I always like calling the original Fern Gully. That's actually a bit that I've said a couple times on the podcast.
Yeah.
But Chris apparently forgot the bit.
Yeah, I did. I was actually genuinely confused. I was like, wait, they made a new Fern Gully movie?
Yes, it's called Avatar, The Way of Water.
I'm glad I haven't watched that movie because everything I've heard about it has been pretty much just negative, except for, the visuals, because, of course, the visuals haven't decreased in quality.
Once again, here's the thing. I'm never going to watch the movie because I didn't like the first one, but my mom did see it, and she said that, she liked the plot. So, there's a positive review to add to your list of thousands of negatives you probably heard.
Yeah. Well, that's the only thing I've heard is that the writing was terrible and the plot was meh.
See, my mom liked the plot.
It directly contradicts it.
Yeah. Chad is dressed like a farmer, and
Yeah.
Ethan's dressed like a knight. Specifically, apparently, it's like a reference. I forgot the name of the movie. It's a reference to some like 2007 horror comedy I've never seen or heard about. But apparently,
Oh,
it's
I
like
think I know what it is.
yeah. Okay, let me see.
The Knights of
No.
no.
It's like
No?
specifically one where it's not about knights. There's
okay.
someone dressed like exactly what he looks like. But I don't think I'm gonna be able to find it. I did look it up at one point, but I don't think I still have it. Okay, sorry guys.
Comedy. About.
It really doesn't matter. We really should just move on. But I really want to know. So
Yeah. No.
horror comedy.
Was it Thanksgiving?
No. Horror comedy 2007. Then I should be able to find it.
Is it 100 Tears?
It's Murder Party.
Murder Party.
Apparently, like a character in it is dressed exactly like the outfit, like the cardboard night outfit.
Interesting.
Yeah, it was a reference that they made. Once again, I listened to a podcast with the Radio Silence, so I know a couple little tidbits here and there about things like that. But then also didn't write it down or remember it well enough to actually say it, but wanted to say it in the moment. So yeah, we're moving on. Chad's trying to hype up Ethan to go meet some girls. He points out a girl dressed like Harry Potter. Ethan says, she's gorgeous. Chad says, great, ask her out. Ethan says, no, I can't. Chad says, ask her out. You gotta have confidence. Plus, look at you, man. You're a snack. You're practically an entire meal on your own. Chad turns to the Pottermore chick and says, hey, excuse me. Howdy. How you doing? Chad, my friend here, he's a snack, right? She shrugs at a response and heads back to her conversation. Ethan asks, what did that mean? Chad replies, no, it's good. Ethan says, what? Chad continues, well, it's not bad. There's room for improvement. Annika comes in and tells Chad he's needed. Pottermore chick is played by Erica Prevost of Polaroid and Bring It On, Cheer or Die, the 7th Bring It On movie that they randomly decided to make a zombie movie.
Huh.
Yeah, if you don't know about, the Bring It On movies, they're, the first one's like a decent, from what I remember, like comedy about cheerleaders, and then there was like a bunch of like direct-to-video sequels that no one cares about. And then now for the 7th one, it's a zombie movie.
As it should be.
Which, I'll be honest, I am more likely to watch that than any of the other Bring It On movies because it is such an absurd thing that it actually might make me watch it.
Yeah, same. Maybe we will be watching the Bring It On.
Cheer or Die. That's next year for Boys Choice 3.
Yeah.
We cut to Frankie and Tara starting up the stairs. Frankie says, aren't you the girl in that stab poop in California last year? Tara replies, no, that's a different pirate. Chad says, hey, partner. Tara's good down here. Frankie scoffs and says, sorry, bro, I didn't catch that. Chad replies, yeah, you did. Tara says, no, Chad, it's fine. I want to. Frankie says, yeah, see, Chad? She wants to. Come on. He grabs her forcefully by the arm and she falls backward onto the stairs. Chad grabs Frankie and pulls him off the stairs, saying, how about you get your obscenity hands off her? They start pushing each other and yelling back and forth. This is where he calls him risky business during that yelling back and forth moment. Sam walks in and says, sorry to interrupt. I'm just gonna tase you in the balls real quick. And she does. And he continues, don't ever lay hands on my sister. Tara says, Sam, are you obscenity and kidding me? You're stalking me now? Tara leaves in a huff. And all the named characters, sans Frankie, head out. On the way home, Sam says, Tara, will you stop? Tara responds, I cannot believe you did that. You embarrassed me. Sam says, that guy was a jerk.
Yeah.
He was going to take advantage of you. Tara says, so? If I want to play harmonica with a butthole, that's my decision. It's my decision. Sam
What a sentence.
Hmm?
Listen, what a sentence.
I mean, yeah.
If I want to play harmonica with a butthole, it's my decision. Out of context, that'd be wild. That's all I'm saying.
But in context, yeah, it's fair. Sam in a dismissive tone says, okay. Tara continues, it's not about you. I mean, you're out of my life for 5 years, and then you can't leave me alone for 5 minutes. Sam says, because you're not dealing with what happened to us. Have you even seen the counselor once? Tara replies, no, I'm not going to. Sam asks, why not? Tara continues, because I'm uninterested in living in the past like you are. Sam asks, what's that supposed to mean? Tara says, it means I'm not going to let what happened to us for 3 days define the rest of my life. Sam says, so you're just going to pretend it never happened? Tara says, what are you doing here, Sam? In New York. You're working 2 poopy jobs to help with rent, whatever. But what's your plan? I know what I'm going to do, okay? Because I'm going to keep going to college, I'm going to get my degree, and I'm going to live my life. My life, okay? I know. You just followed me here, and you won't let me out of your sight. Sam says, I'm just trying to look out for you. Tara says, I know. I know you are. But you can't do it for the rest of my life, though. You have to let me go. Some random girl runs up and pours a drink on Sam, calling her a murderer. Sam pushes her and says, what the obscenity is wrong with you, you bad woman? They both argue back and forth for a bit before Rando Girl walks away. Random Girl, who is, I assume, Angry Woman in the credits, is played by Jenna Wheeler-Hughes of Psycho Prom Queen. Which is a cool sounding title, so
Yeah.
Mindy tries to calm Sam down. Ethan sheepishly offers her 3 tissues so Sam can dry off a bit. At the apartment, Quinn apologizes to Tara for telling Sam where she went. Tara responds, it's fine, it's just... she's all the way up my butt, like usual. Quinn says, I know what it's like when they hold on too tight. After we, lost my brother, my dad wouldn't leave me alone. He even transferred to the NYPD when I got into college, so... stalker much? Chad comes in with some pain pills, and Quinn leaves. Tara says, you can, go back to your dorm. I'm pretty sure the fighting is done for the day. Chad replies, that's too bad. I was actually looking forward to getting some shots in while I can. Because, Chad is a horrible person who wants to beat women. What? That's what the line is supposed to mean, right?
No, I don't think so.
Oh. Oh, that was just playful, wasn't it? My bad. Tara says, oh yeah? Bring it. Thank you for not letting me go up those stairs. Yeah, I don't know. I think I was just more messed up than I realized. Chaz says, survivors gotta stick together, And besides, you can do a lot better than date word that we can't say. Frankie. Tara,
Yeah.
I think you're really special. They almost kiss when They almost kiss when Quinn comes in with her looking for her phone, and totally Blockers, starring John Cena as them.
Yeah. I understand.
Yeah, no. I just thought that was great. I was like, how am I gonna say what they say there? Because I can't say that. And I was like, oh, there's that movie Blockers, which was only like PG-13, or maybe it was rated R, but they couldn't, put that first word in the title of a movie, so it had to be just Blockers. Chad leaves her room. We cut to downstairs where Sam is kissing her secret boyfriend, Danny, which is Cute Boy if you forgot already. But that's Danny. I'm going to call him Danny for the rest of the movie, everyone.
He will no longer be Cute Boy.
Because well, I mean, that's not true.
He is a man.
Multiple people do still call him Cute Boy in dialogue. So
true.
You will hear me call him Cute Boy again, but it will be in dialogue from other characters, not me just saying Cute Boy.
Referencing him.
Yeah, yes. It'll be Danny. She pulls away and tells him, careful, someone might see us. Danny replies, you always say the most romantic things. Sam says, Danny continues, what? Can I help it if my favorite music genre is woman who's ashamed to be seen with me?
Yeah.
I think that works, right? Yeah.
Sam says.
You know what, Chris?
You
can shut up, okay? Actually, I'll do the podcast.
Oh, actually, I don't think that's what the audience wants.
So what do you think of that line, though, replace that one word that I can't even say what it is, but you know.
Music genre?
Favorite music genre for the K word?
That was pretty good.
All right, thank you. I needed that validation. That's the only reason I have this podcast is to be validated.
Oh, did you ever come up with a replacement for that other one that you texted me?
Nope, have not.
All right. How about musically uninclined?
See, I feel like that implies like never done. Like I don't feel like that gets it across. I don't know.
Musically challenged.
Maybe. Yeah, I might go with that. Honestly, it's still asterisks in the notes, and my plan was just like, and Chris, next line, you, and it will make you just think of something on the spot. But now that you brought it up here, I guess I just go with it.
Oh.
That was one of the times I wanted to...
I'll come up with another one.
Okay,
don't worry.
Cool. Okay. I had a bit plan that I couldn't tell you about because the point was I was trying to throw it at you. But, you know.
I'm one step ahead of you.
You are. Sam says, come on. You know it's not that. I'm just not ready for... Danny interjects. I know. Your sister and your friends know you enjoy physical contact with another human being. I get it. I do. Your secret is safe with me. A little thing. It's not a big deal. I just can't help but notice you're covered in cherry coke. Sam corrects him. I'm pretty sure it's diet cherry coke, actually. What, you don't like it? Danny responds, no, I love it. It's a very musical, aromatic choice. I think it was just sexy. I don't even remember what it was. But it was like, I gotta change it to musical because that's funny.
That probably wasn't.
It was probably something worse.
It might have been arousing.
Chris!
What?
Musical!
You can arouse interest in things. Doesn't have to necessarily be.
Was another conspiracy?
Anyways.
She replies, being famous isn't all it's cracked up to be. And Tara's pissed at me again. She said she wants to be let go. Wants me to let her go. I'll get the line out right. Danny says, yeah, family can be rough. Chad from upstairs tells Sam to get up here right now. She and Danny both run upstairs. The news is covering Jason and Greg's murders and talking about Ghostface costume being found at the scene. Sam tells Tara, pack a bag. We leave in 10. Tara says, Sam? Wait, Sam? Sam replies, we're getting out of the city. Danny says, what? Chad ushers him out the door saying, thank you very much, suspicious new guy, but we got it from here. Have a good night. Get home safe. Go, go, go. In the kitchen, Sam is arming herself with a knife. Tara says, Sam, come on, hold on. No, wait, let's talk about this for a second. 'Cause this might have nothing to do with us. Sam asks, are you serious? Tara replies, it's a big city. It's Halloween. Everybody's wearing masks. You don't know. Sam says, Tara, this isn't a coincidence. You know him. Tara says, barely. Sam says, Chad, Mindy, back me up. Chad says, it's a little bit... Mindy finishes the thought. Close to home. Sam says, see? Tara says, Quinn, your dad's a cop, right? Can you call him and find out what's going on? Before you make the unilateral decision to abandon my college education and flee the obscenity state? Quinn says, I'm calling him now. Sam's phone starts to ring. She walks over and it's a call from Gail, but she doesn't answer it. Ethan asks, why did everyone just freak out when her phone rang? Annika replies, you gotta keep up, my dude. Quinn brings her phone over to Sam because her dad wants to talk to her. Sam says, Mr. Bailey, hi. Detective Bailey says, hey, Sam. I was actually just about to call you. We cut to the crime scene and see Sam's driver's license on the floor. In blood. Oh, dun, 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 dun. Sam's the killer? The end.
I don't think so.
She goes to jail for killing because this is evidence. She's done.
No.
She's going home.
Who's playing it?
Oh, probably.
Probably. True.
Detective Bailey is played by Dermot Mulroney of the Purge TV series, Young Guns, My Best Friend's Wedding, Zodiac, Insidious Chapter 3, and Intimate Affairs, alongside Horror Boy alums Harvey Friedman of The Voices and the Scream franchise's own Neve Campbell. She's not in this one.
Yeah.
Sam says, Well, my sister thinks I'm probably overreacting. Detective Bailey says, No, unfortunately you're not. Sam asks, What do you mean? What's going on? Detective Bailey says, I'm afraid I need you to come down to the station. Sam tries to tell Tara not to come with her, but Tara retorts, Are you serious? Now you don't want to stick together? And Sam says fine. And they head on their way to the police station. And they make it there, and then the cops find the killer, and it's over, right?
Yippee, we did it.
Yay.
No. No. That is not what happens.
Oh, you're right. 'Cause Sam gets a phone call, and it's somehow coming from Richie's phone? But Richie's dead!
How's that possible?
Tara tells her not to answer. But Sam does, and says, Who is this? Ghostface replies, Hello, Samantha. Did you miss me? Sam says, I want you to think long and hard about whether you want to do this, because the last two people that obscenity'd with us ended up dead. Ghostface says, You should be thanking me, Sam.
Valid response.
Yeah, it is. You should be thanking me, Sam. Jason and Greg were gonna kill you and your sister. I gutted them before they had a chance. Sam says, So what? You're protecting us now? Ghostface replies, Not quite. I'm going to show the world who you really are. A liar and a killer. I'm going to punish you, Sam. Sam says, You shouldn't believe everything you read on the internet, butthole.
Got him.
Ghostface says, Don't be cute. You're going to pay for what you did. And I'm not going to stop until I butcher you. You and anyone who gets in between us. You and Tara better watch your backs. Sam says, Better watch yours. Ghostface runs up and tries to stab Tara, but she elbows him off and pushes him down. Tara and Sam run into a bodega and beg for help. When Ghostface comes in, a bodega customer gets in his face and says, Got a problem here, guy? And Ghostface then repeatedly stabs him in the torso.
Yeah.
Another customer runs up to help and gets a knife right in the throat for his troubles. Ghostface walks towards the girls, but the bodega clerk pulls out a shotgun and fires it, but Ghostface ducks out of the way, just in time. The bodega clerk is played by stuntman and actor Jason Cavalier of Mother, Gothica, X-Men Days of Future Past, Apocalypse and Arcanix, Scanners 2 and 3, and Rollerball, alongside Horror Bois alums Andrew Bernarski of Texas Chainsaw Massacre 03 and Beginning, and Mike Dopude of Final Destination 5.
Ooh.
Yeah. The bodega clerk tells the girls to go out the back, but it's locked. As he tries to get his keys for them, Ghostface comes up from behind him and stabs him in the chest. Ghostface takes the shotgun and shoots the clerk in the head as the girls hide. It's a tense scene where after a bit of Ghostface clearing the area and the girls sneaking, Sam distracts Ghostface by throwing a beer can. Ghostface hears a piece of glass crack under Tara's hand and turns back their way, but the girls push a shelf over on Ghostface and run out the door. I will just say, I kind of rushed through that scene because that's how action scenes work in our podcast, because there's only so much I can say about what's happening in an action scene. Yeah. But yeah, it's a really good scene. It's really fun. I know some people were really mad in the trailers when they saw Ghostface with a shotgun, which I never really understood, because people are like, oh, Ghostface should have a knife. Every Ghostface has used a gun at some point. Normally, yes, it is after they take the mask off, but it's still the same character, not wearing the mask, holding a gun, shooting people. So I never quite understood the hatred for it, but also, especially in the context of him, taking it from that guy, it makes a lot of sense. I think it's also really cool. It's a really cool imagery of seeing Ghostface with a shotgun. I like it.
Fair.
Sorry, my throat. There's something there. My throat. I'm rambling. I'm gonna go back to the notes.
Okay.
The cops are just arriving outside, but when they go in, Ghostface is gone out the back door, leaving a Ghostface mask on the ground. We cut to
nothing.
Sorry?
That's probably nothing.
Yeah, probably not. Probably won't happen at least 2 more times. 3 more. 3, I don't know. There's multiple times. We don't know. We cut to Detective Bailey entering the room at the station. Tara and Sam are waiting in it. Sorry. I understand what... We cut to Detective Bailey entering the room at the station that Tara and Sam are waiting in. There's how that sentence is supposed to be said. He tells them the mask left at the crime scene has the DNA of Richie and asks, does that ring a bell? And Sam says, we're familiar with him. Tara says, but the other one that attacked us had a different mask on. It was kind of more beat up. Like it was older. This is the first of what I will call the 3 teases that pissed me off when I watched this movie.
That is entirely fair.
And we'll get to that at the end, but a little bit later. But, yeah. Detective Bailey says, I gotta asks, do you have your alibis for earlier tonight? Tara says, I was at a party with my friends. Sam says, I was at my therapist. I can give you his information. You can call to check if you want. And then I met Tara at the party, where I tased someone in the balls. Unrelated. Detective Bailey pulls out a video of Sam's altercation on the street and he says, was this before or after that happened? Sam replies, before. Tara says, the point is, we were with people all night. Sam says, so our roommate's dad just happens to pull our case? Detective Bailey replies, that'd be a crazy coincidence, right? The detective who had the case, he offered it to me because it involves Quinn. But I can totally give it back if you're uncomfortable. It's up to you. Sam replies, it's fine. Detective Bailey says, so, if the man who attacked you did steal your license and plant it next to the body, it'd probably be someone close to you. How long have you known your friends? Tara says, well, we moved here with Mindy and Chad for summer semester like 6 months ago. So Quinn, Ethan, Annika, all since then? Detective Bailey says, I think I can vouch for Quinn. So that's one less we have to worry about. Do either of you have anyone that might want to target you? Tara replies, not anyone who's still alive. Such a hardcore line there.
Yeah.
Detective Bailey replies, yikes. Then they're interrupted by a cop who says, FBI's here, and they're claiming jurisdiction. Detective Bailey goes out and meets FBI Special Agent Kirby Reed. Which would have been a really cool
legacy character.
Yeah, it would have been really cool if it wasn't like totally in every trailer.
Yeah. If there was some sort of like reveal.
Whoa, yeah. Scream. Kirby is played by the returning Hayden Panettiere of Scriform. Kirby introduces herself and says, I work out of the Atlanta office. Detective Bailey remarks, oh, you lost? Kirby explains, your two Vics were residents of my city before they moved here for college. I have been investigating their online activity for the past few months. Detective Bailey says, wow. Why? Kirby replies, I take a special interest in Ghostface attacks. Tara and Sam join Detective Bailey and Kirby in the hall. Sam says, Kirby? What? You're the FBI? Kirby says, mm-hmm. Detective Bailey asks, you guys know each other? Which you know is fair, because, they are not from the same movie.
Right.
But Sam does explain to us. Yeah, we went to Woodsboro High together. She was a senior when I was a freshman. Oh, okay, fair enough. Now, Kirby says, we share a certain history, yeah. Look, I'm not trying to get into a jurisdictional pissing contest here. I just want to help. I'll show you mine, etc. She hands him her files. A cop brings over the mask left at the bodega with the traces of Charlie Walker and Jill Roberts' DNA. Dun dun dun. All the ghost faces are still alive and back.
Yeah, it's a Ghostface collab.
Kirby says, the Ghostface killer of 2011. Charlie Walker gave me this. She lifts up her shirt and shows her stabbing scar. She continues, like I said, I take a special interest. Is this the mask he was wearing when he attacked you? Tara replies, no. Detective Bailey says, so he's leaving them on purpose. Kirby says, which means whoever's doing this is a student of the killers who came before. Maybe he believes Sam is the latest in a long line. Sam says, yeah, good luck with that. We're getting out of town. Detective Bailey says, alright, cool. See you guys after we finish everything up. Right? No, wait, sorry. He says, I'm sorry. That's not possible. You're both persons of interest in a double homicide. So you're not allowed to leave town. Sorry. Tara asks, are you serious? Kirby replies, he's right. But if we work together... Sam interrupts. We're going. Her and Tara leave, and outside is a ton, not Tom, is a tom of reporters. Also reporters, not reported.
A whole bunch of Toms.
Outside is a tom of reported, trying to get a word with them, including Gail Weathers of Channel 4.
No!
Gail is played by the returning Courtney Cox of every Scream movie. Gail says, do you ladies think you're the reason that the Ghostface Killer came to the Big Apple? Sam goes to punch her, but Gail ducks and says, nice try, sweetie, but I've done this dance before. In comes a punch from Tara, who says, stay away from us. Gail asks, are you really still mad at me? Sam says, you said you wouldn't write a book about what happened. And then you wrote a book about what happened. Yeah.
Yeah.
Gail says,
Gail.
yeah, that's Gail for you. Gail says, oh, come on. Somebody was going to write about it. It's what I do. Tara says, I heard you couldn't sell the movie rights. Gail replies, it's all about true crime limited series these days. I feel like you could have still sold that then, you know?
Yeah.
But apparently she couldn't, you know? She said it like she wasn't able to sell it. Like, I feel like you could sell it for a true crime limited series. But alright.
Or maybe she's implying that is what she did instead.
Oh, maybe. I guess. I just feel like the whole, like, you know, you can't...
The way she said it?
She said, like, yeah, you're right. I couldn't sell the movie rights. Like, she lost out on it. I don't know. I said, well, I guess maybe if it's a true crime limited series, they don't really need her book. They can just, you know, get interviews with people around it, and, you know, it might be more like a Tiger King or something like that, where it's less of a
documentary style.
Yeah. No, not a narrative. So I guess that's fair. So that's why she couldn't do it. It's all the Tiger King's fault.
Yeah.
Sam says, after everything we went through together, what would Dewey think? Gail says, that's a low blow. Sam says, so was your book. You called me unstable and a born killer. Gail says, that's taken out of context. Sam says, that's literally a quote. Tara says, you don't think what you wrote had something to do with what's happening to us? Sam and Tara are about to leave when Gail says, hey, I talked to Sydney. Tara says, she's not coming, is she? Gail says, no. She didn't think she was getting paid enough, so she didn't agree to come back.
I don't think that's what she said.
Oh, you're right. No, she says...
that is what the... Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I'm going to explain it after this line. I'll go into, like, a little detail there. No, she sends her love, but she's taking Mark and the kids someplace safe. She deserves to have her happy ending. Sam says, on that much, we agree. Alright, so now let's talk about the elephant in the room. Sydney is not in this movie. I will also say, like, I understand that it probably happened probably early enough in the script process, but I honestly don't even see where you'd fit her into this movie.
Yeah.
Like, you'd have to have completely changed the story for her to fit at all, really. Or if she wasn't just like, hey, look, she's here. And, like, okay, who cares? Like, and then, like, yeah, it sucks that, you know, she felt like she wasn't getting paid enough money. We don't know numbers, so I don't know if she's wanted more than she actually, like, you know, did she want more than what Courtney Cox was willing to come back for the same thing? Like, I don't know if she was actually underpaid. I'll never know. Yeah. You know? But I do know that she talked, like, the Radio Silence, like, they're on good terms with her still. Like, it was a business decision she made. She has no ill will towards them for continuing the franchise without her. I feel like they did do a really good job of kind of explaining why she doesn't need to come back. Like, Sydney doesn't need to be here. Like, Sydney, like, yes, I get it. She's Sydney Prescott. Sydney Prescott's awesome. She's one of the best final girls. But Homegirl's lived an insane life. It is time for her to have her happy ending. Like, if she never comes back, I'm okay with that. If she comes back for 7, I'll also be okay with that if it's written right and makes sense. But,
yeah.
I think it's all good. I think it sucks that, you know, if she was, you know, the studio was offering her not enough money, that sucks. But you know, we'll never know all the details. But yeah, she's not here, and I think that they handled it in a very, like, respectful way to the character to explain why she wasn't there.
Yeah,
you know, I really like that. Like, I think that line about, you know, her getting to have her happy ending is, like, really good. It's like, oh yeah, maybe Maybe the internet shouldn't have been really mad when she wasn't back. You know, she does deserve a happy ending. But yeah, so Sam and Tara start to get into a cab game, apparently. Gail says, "Hey, I want to catch the obscenity as much as you do." Tara says, "Maybe. Or maybe you're just afraid that without Ghostface in your life, you're going to fade away." Because apparently Tara's new thing is just being the most, like, hardcore person when she needs to be.
Yeah.
She is savage AF, as kids said, like, 5 years ago, probably.
Yeah, now they're just saying Sag.
Oh.
Yeah.
I'm old.
That's okay.
Tara and Sam leave. We cut to Dr. Stone watching the 1956 version of Invasion of the Body Snatchers. He hears a knock at his door and heads over, and it's Ghostface, who breaks the glass and pulls him into the door, bashing his head a few times for stabbing him through the nose. That's pretty cool.
That's not, directly through. It is like, right next to it.
That's like through the side of the nose, like into the back of his head.
Yeah. That is pretty brutal.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. Yeah, brutal. Ghostface lets himself in and steals Sam's file from the filing cabinet. We cut to a park at the college, and we start to hear Red Right Hand start to play. But before it gets going, we meet up with Sam, Tara, Chad, Mindy, Annika, Quinn, and Ethan for the rules. Alright, so this is the first ever installment of Horror Bois Theater. Chris, you have two choices. We can do it either way. You can either play Mindy or everyone else, because Mindy talks so much in this, and the other people do too. But like, it's your choice. Which one do you want? Do you want to play Mindy's voice? We're not gonna do like their voices, but do you want to read Mindy's dialogue or do you want to read everyone else's dialogue?
I'll be Mindy.
Okay. So.
All right. Mindy says, "Okay, nerds, listen up. As terrifying as this all is, I'm actually glad I get a chance to redeem myself for not calling the killers last time. It's fine, okay? The way I see it, someone is out to make a sequel to the requel."
Annika says, what's a requel?
Mindy says, "You're beautiful, sweetie. Let's hold questions to the end."
Sam says, Stab 1 took place in Woodsboro. Stab 2 took place in college. Tara says, so do you think the killer is trying to copy the movies?
Mindy says, "That is one possibility. Heroes now in college, check. Suspicious new characters brought in to round out the suspect list and or body count, check, check, and check." She points at Quinn, Annika, and Ethan as she checks. Ethan says, "Oh, you're right. My bad."
I don't like this.
And Mindy continues, "But it can't just be about Stab 2.
Tara asks, why not?
Mindy continues, "It would make sense if this were just a sequel. But we're not in a sequel, because nobody just makes sequels anymore. We're in a franchise. And there are certain rules to a continuing franchise."
Sam says, I had a feeling.
Mindy continues, "Rule 1. Everything is bigger than last time. Bigger budget, bigger cast, bigger body count. Longer chases, shootouts, beheadings. You gotta top what came before to keep people coming back."
Chad questions, beheadings?
Mindy continues, "Beheadings. Rule 2. Whatever happened last time, expect the opposite. Franchises only survive by subverting expectations. If the killer last time were whiny snowflake film nerds with letterboxed accounts instead of personalities, you can bet the opposite will be true here. And Rule 3. No one is safe. Legacy characters, cannon fodder at this point. Usually brought back only to, where am I?
Only to be killed?
I scrolled down a little bit, and now I'm lost in the sauce. I now know what it's like to be Austin.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's brutal.
Yes.
Usually brought back only to be killed in some cheap bud for nostalgia. A bid
It's
for
bid,
nostalgia.
yeah, I must have mistyped.
Nah, it's all good. It's not looking too good for Gale and Kurt. Oh, and that's not even the worst part.
Chad says, this is the part where she tells us the worst part.
It continues. The worst part is franchises are just continuing episodic installments designed to boost an IP, which means main characters are completely expendable now, too. Laurie Strode, Nancy Thompson, Ellen Ripley, Sally Hardesty, Jigsaw, Tony Stark, James Bond. I mean, even Luke Skywalker all died so their franchises could live on. That means it's not just the friend group. Any of us could go AR Fox
It's supposed to
anytime.
be R.
R Fox.
Sometime, yeah. Go at. It's supposed to be at. I don't know why it's
Oh,
it's I have it as like a preset thing. It's not go AR Fox anytime.
that would be
Random
a little...
indie wrestler AR Fox is not going to shout out. Actually, no, he's not even indie anymore. He just signed to AEW. He's kind of a bigger deal now. But yeah, no. It was supposed to be at.
the wrestler AR
Yeah,
Fox.
it was supposed to
is
be
gonna come in.
at, but I must have mistyped AR, which autofills for AR Fox on my phone. Normally, I catch
see
that
you're always
and
talking
fix
about
it.
AR Fox. I see you're always talking about AR
Well,
Fox.
it came back. I used to do like this fantasy booking thing where I had to write stuff a lot, and I had it. I typed it. I put it in there on purpose so I would be able to type his name out quicker.
Ah.
So you want to start over at any of us could go?
Any of us could go at Fox anytime. Especially Sam
No
and Tara.
Fox. Stop saying Fox. It's not supposed to be there.
Any of us could go at any time. Especially Sam and Tara.
Ethan says, "Wait. Any of us?"
And he says, yeah.
Ethan says, Am I in the friend group?"
Yeah.
Ethan says, "Am I like one of the targets of?
Mm-hmm.
Am I going to die of never playing harmonica?"
And he says, well, that was a weird overshare, but it brings us to our current suspects. Ethan, the shy, dorky guy who no one suspects because he's so shy and dorky.
Okay, why am I on the suspect list? Because I'm randomly Chad's roommate?
Roommate lotteries can be jukes. You could have fixed it to get next to us. Quinn, the loose-moraled roommate, a horror movie classic.
Quinn says, "Music positive, but thank you."
And he says, how did you come to live with Sam and Tara?
Quinn replies, "I answered the ad online."
Minnie says, okay, say no more. You've already implicated yourself enough.
Tara says, "It was an anonymous ad, Mindy, and you know we vetted her. Plus her dad's a cop."
Minnie continues, and that makes it even more likely that she's the killer, because having a cop dad is a great cover. Do you not remember how these movies work, Tara?
Quinn asks, "Is she always like this?" Sam nods.
And Minnie continues. And finally, Annika. Never trust the love interest.
Sam says, "Okay, so we have our rules and we have our suspects." Ethan jumps in. "But wait, what about you guys?"
Minnie says, I mean, I think it's pretty safe to rule out that the four of us who went through this last year in Woodsboro.
Chad says, "Agreed." Quinn says, not agreed. What if the trauma you all went through caused one or more of you to snap?" Ethan says, "Yeah, or the fame you got from the killings made you thirsty for more. I mean, let's be honest here. Some of the theories online about Sam are..." Tara interrupts, "Don't you obscenitying dare." Annika says, "Okay, she's right though. I mean, face facts. If we're all suspects, you're all suspects." And so ends the first installment of Downtown Kentucky. No, wait, sorry. Horror Boys Theater.
It's okay, it's the first installment.
Yeah.
We'll have to make mistakes.
We'll figure it out later. But yeah, thank you, Chris. That would have been so annoying to have to go through that. Like, I want that line. All that dialogue is really important, so it all needed to be here. But if I had to go, and then I was doing all of it, it would have been rough. So now that Chris has the notes, when things like there's big moments like this, I can have Chris jump in.
Yippee!
Yeah. We cut to the police station where Detective Bailey walks up to Kirby and says, "Remember Samantha Carpenter's alibi? The therapist? He was stabbed to death. Through the nose. Through the nose. How messed up is that?" Kirby replies, "It's pretty messed up." Detective Bailey continues, "He turned her in for making threatening remarks. Ended up dead. And guess which patient's notes were stolen?" Kirby says, "So Sam kills her own alibi and steals her own session notes?" Detective Bailey says, "Maybe. Another match was found at the scene. It's a DNA match for Roman Bridger." Kirby explains to new viewers, "The Ghostface killer who is directing Stab 3. It's like he's leaving us real-life franchise Easter eggs, like dropping killer masks in reverse almost like he's counting down to something. And there's 2. And there's moment 2 that irritated me.
Yeah.
Detective Bailey. What happens when he gets to 1? We cut to Detective Bailey and Kirby now looking at the evidence whiteboard that runs down this movie's events and all the previous Ghostface killers. Kirby says, we've had 9 Ghostface killers so far. Technically, it's 11. Or at least 10. I guess, to be fair, Greg never actually got a chance to be a Ghostface killer. But technically, there is 10 because homeboy Jason did kill someone. At this point, we know he killed someone. So, but he does not get mentioned in this section like that. So, poor Jason.
I don't think he ever will be.
I know, poor Jason doesn't get the recognition he deserves as a Ghostface killer. Detective Bailey says 9. I thought in the movies. Kirby interrupts him with, forget about the movies. The movies don't matter. Look, last year was Amber Freeman and Richie Kirsch, whose masks we found at the first crime scene, along with the bodies of the 2 film students who killed their professor earlier in the same night. See, we're mentioned here, but they don't get to be Ghostface. Not fair. Then it was Jill Roberts and Charlie Walker. Theirs at the bodega. Roman Bridger was the only single Ghostface. Kudos to him for ambition. His mask was found at the shrinks. A little too positive there, Kirby, about a horrible killer. Who, I mean, I'll say it. I said it in the 3rd movie.
The worst Scream movie?
Well, it is. By a decent margin. Still a good movie, honestly. I still stand by it. It is a good movie. Solid. But it is definitely the worst of the franchise, which I believe it's a Dan Dramble's quote, but I love it, is, if Scream 3 is the worst movie in your franchise, you have an amazing franchise.
Really.
But yeah, what I was going to say, though, is I said it there as my theory. I don't think Roman Bridger was a solo Ghostface. It literally doesn't make any sense. There are times where there has to be 2. And I think, and yes, in the original scripts there were other ones, one of which was, I don't remember the character's name, or the actress, if that matter. Actually, I do. The actress is Emily Mortimer. I don't remember what the character's name was, though. But her character...
After remembering Emily Mortimer.
Well, because she's come up as like a Horror Boy alum with other people a lot lately. So, but yeah, the point is, I think she was definitely the other killer. That was in one of the original scripts that eventually got changed, but it doesn't make sense.
I kind of remember us discussing that in Scream 3 when we were like, they definitely paint her to be
They kind of paint her to be, killers. And then they go, no, she's not. It's like, it's almost like they went, the original script, she was, and they decided to change that, but didn't change the parts that made her look like it, or the parts that made it have to be too. So it's like, I think she still was, and Roman just killed her, without us ever knowing she was Ghostface. But that's just a fan theory.
That's just a game theory.
That's just a Horror Boys theory.
Yeah.
Thanks for watching. But please keep watching, because we're not actually done.
Yeah, not even close, actually.
Yeah, I don't know what... I'm on different pages because I haven't printed out, so I actually have 27 pages of notes. You only have 18. I don't know what page of notes we're on for you.
I don't either.
That's fair. Where did I leave off, though?
Ghostface Killer is directing step 3, yeah.
Shrinks. Detective Bailey says, which just leaves Mickey Altieri, Nancy Loomis, Stu Mocker, Kirby jumps in, and Billy Loomis. Number 1. Which I'm going to say pause right there real quick. Oh, sorry. And the father of our chief suspect. Okay. Now I'll pause before I go into Detective Bailey's line. I don't like this movie and the last movie due to, Sam's connection. This revisionist history that Billy is number 1. They were a pair. Okay?
True.
You are this. He is not number 1. He is first 2 with Stu Macher. Sure, he was definitely more of the leader of the 2, and Stu Macher was kind of just going along with it. But I don't care. I love Matthew Lillard, so no. So, Matthew Lillard is definitely the guy who, Billy's the guy who gets angry and throws phones at him for making mistakes, and, Stu just kind of whines about it. So, fine, I guess he probably is number 2 in that relationship. But no, I'm not okay with it. Detective Bailey says, well, whoever's doing this is leading us back to Sam. Kirby gets a phone call and leaves to answer it. After she's gone, Detective Bailey tells Jack, "Would you call the Atlanta field office? Dig up what you can on Agent Reed." Pum pum. We cut to the gang at Sam, Tara, and Quinn's apartment. In the kitchen, Tara tells Chad, "I think you should get out of the city. You know, considering what happened to you last time, I wouldn't blame you if you wanted to go." Chad replies, "That's very thoughtful of you, but I don't think I'm going anywhere." Mindy makes gagging noises from the dining room and says, "Will you two just make out already?" Chad responds, "Mindy, that is so inappropriate, dude." Mindy says, "Oh, whatever. Get it over with." Sam? We don't have to stay here." Sam replies, "Well, too bad. I insist. Safety in numbers." Chad says, "This will be so fun. A little slumber party with the Core 4. Sam asks, "Core 4? Chad says, "Yeah." Tara asks, "Did you just give us a nickname?" Chad replies, "Sure did. We've been through a lot together, and it's a pretty cool nickname." Sam says, "That's debatable." Tara adds, "It's extremely debatable." Mindy says, "You can't just give yourself a nickname, dingus." Chad retorts, "Of course I can, dingus, because I just did. Core 4, up top." Mindy says, "No." Chad says, "Down low." Tara says, "Get that away from me." Chad turns to Sam and says, "Please, for the love of God." Mindy says, "Don't do it." Chad says, "You know, I would actually like a little more respect and support from my fellow members of the Core 4. I really like this scene. Like, I could totally have technically like skipped over the scene without just saying like, "Oh, they came up with the nickname Core 4," because that does come up later. But like, it's just so fun. Like, I love this scene.
Yeah.
Genuinely, like
Chad's energy in this scene
all of their energies, like
great.
for what they're going for. Like him being like, they're like, "Yeah, Core 4," and then like them like, "No, how dare you? Shut up." Like it's like
really establishing.
Yeah, I
Chad
love
as the new Dewey.
Chad and Mindy both calling each other dingus. Like, that's such a brother-sister moment. Like, her being like, "You dingus," and him being like, "No, you're a dingus." Like, I love it. I love this. I love the Core 4. If we don't see, like, any, legacy characters ever again, yeah, I mean, there's some I wouldn't mind seeing again if they're alive, hypothetically. Who knows at the end of this movie. Yeah. But, if they come back, they don't have to, because I honestly think these four are so good together that I don't need other people. I mean, you need other people, but you get my point.
No one else has to be in the movie. It's just them four riffing.
Give me an hour and a half just comedy movie called The Core 4. Yeah, don't call it Scream because people will get mad, but just call it The Core 4. It takes place in the Scream world. It's just them having like a good road trip movie. Nothing bad happens. They get to they get their happy ending.
It's a rom-com.
Yeah. And you know what? I lied. We can have a fifth character. Danny,
and it's whoever's Mindy's dating at the time.
I was going to go with Danny, but yeah, sure.
No, yeah, there's six characters in the movie, actually.
Well, actually, I don't know, because Danny could be Ghostface. We have to wait and see, because everyone's a suspect. In the words of Randy Meeks, everyone's a suspect. Annika calls them into the living room, and it's the news saying that Sam is the prime suspect, shows footage of her altercation on the street, and brings up the theory of her being responsible for the last movie's killings. Sam turns off the TV and sits down at the dining room table. Tara joins her and says, "I know you're not a fan of the way I've been handling things, and I've been giving you a really hard time, but I can say that none of us can relate to what you're experiencing. And I'm really, really sorry that you have to do this alone. Have to do that alone." And this is that line that I was talking about that was written somewhat as a reflection of the actual backlash that only Sam pretty much got from the last movie. Which, once again, I am sorry that I was even somewhat part of that. Sam says, "It's not your fault, and I know I shouldn't care what people think. It just sucks being this hated." Chad and Minnie join them at the table. Chad says, Hey, just a reminder, not a single person in this room hates you, okay? We've all been through some obscenity up stuff, and we are coping with it differently. But I mean, we moved here together for one very specific reason. We are a team." Mindy says, "We are the Core Obscenitying 4. Chad says, Thank you very much, Mindy says. I hate myself. Tara says, you said it. Chad says, that's what I'm talking about. It's the core four. Mindy says, say it. Tara says, no, I'm not going to say it. Not now. I mean, yes, we're a team, but... Chad says, it's got a nice ring to it. Sam says, I've been playing harmonica with Cute Boy from across the hall. To Sam's surprise, they all cheer and say that they knew it.
Yeah.
Speaking of Danny, we cut to his apartment where he's watching the news that says that Ghostface costumes are selling like crazy for Halloween that's coming up. Because I know we had that Halloween party that opened the movie, so you might have thought this movie opened on Halloween, but that's just, a frat party, which means Halloween's probably on like a Monday or Tuesday this week, and that was, the weekend Halloween party.
Yeah.
Actually, I guess this movie is like over like 3 days. That might have been a Friday party while like Halloween's on Sunday or something. I don't know. Because this is all still technically the first day, I think. No, it's not, because it was morning when they left. I don't know, man. Timelines of movies can be a little weird. They don't normally directly tell you what day you're on. So.
Not typically.
Unless it's like Halloween. I think one of the Halloweens does that. It'd be like one day to Halloween or something. I'm like, what movie was that? It's not Halloween. There's some movie that like counts down the days to whatever they're going for on the screen. Oh, it's not a movie. It's the Christmas episode of Chucky.
Yeah. That sure is.
All right, and back to the notes. So yeah, Ghostface costumes selling like crazy. He looks over and sees Ghostface standing in Quinn's room. Danny tries to get Quinn's attention. We cut back to Tara saying, I feel like we should have a high five or something. Chad says, the core four high five. May we please? Tara says, don't call it that, but we'll do the high five. We see Danny trying to get Sam's attention to no avail. Ghostface leaves Quinn to deal with Paul 2 in the shower. Is it the same Paul as the last one? One of them is the one that I said earlier. I might be both, might be only one of them. I don't know. I'm sorry.
Who knows?
If one of them isn't, they're never listed in the cast, like on IMDb. So I wouldn't be able to tell you who they were. So maybe they're the same guy.
I would imagine it's probably the same guy to,
but also,
reduce costs.
Sure, but also you never know with like a movie like this because like the idea might be supposed to be that she's she's kind of a loose moraled girl, so you never know. Maybe these are supposed to be two different people, and the other one, to be fair, is literally just spoiler. When we see him, he's just a dead body, so that could have just been a random person on the set who they threw in the spot. That could be the editor. The editor wouldn't be on set, but you get my point. One of the makeup crew gets to pretend to be whoever's dead in the shower. I mean, Paul just walked in there, so or Ghostface just walked in there.
And it literally is going to be in a few scenes.
Yeah.
So.
Danny tries calling Sam, but she ignores him to have more Core 4 consort. It means like hanging out. I looked for a word that so it's more Core 4 consort. I thought I liked that. You didn't, and that's fine. We'll move on. The Core 4 then... What? Then here. Yeah, I wrote her for some reason. Okay.
Yep.
The Core 4 then hear Quinn moaning and assume she's up to her normal musical escapades. They then all receive a picture from Danny of Ghostface attacking Quinn. Ghostface opens the door and pushes Quinn's bloody body onto Annika. Tara and Chad run out the front door. Ghostface cuts Mindy's arm really bad. Annika tries to fight Ghostface, so he stabs her in the gut and twists the blade. Sam goes to the kitchen to grab a knife, but they're all gone, so she grabs the knife block and runs in and hits Ghostface in the head with it, knocking him down. Sam, Mindy, and Annika go into Quinn's room and lock the door. Mindy and Chad try to help, but they realize when they get upstairs that they can't because... They realize that they weren't followed, so they head back upstairs but can't get in because the door is locked. Sam realizes that the bathroom door is an option, or open, I think is what it's supposed to be. I guess it is option, yeah. So, I don't know what I was trying to say. It's open, so they have to try to close it. So Minnie tries to close it, seeing Paul 2.0's mangled body in the shower. Ghostface tries to come in, and the girls are able to close the bedroom door in time and barricade the door with the dresser. Then we get a really suspenseful scene where Ghostface tries to enter the room, while Danny, with the help of a ladder, working as a bridge over the alley, gets Sam and then Mindy to safety. When Annika tries to cross, Ghostface is able to enter the room and shake the ladder to make her fall off, causing Annika to fall off, but not in the way you expect. You expect her time to hit the ground. You're like, oh, okay, she can hit the ground and die. But no, it's worse because she hits her head on the dumpster on the way down, and we get this really gnarly makeup, or it could be digital effects. I don't know which one it is, but it looks really cool.
Does look pretty dang cool.
Yeah,
we get to see her smashed face.
Yeah. I'm not sure if it's practical effects or if it's digital effects, but if it is digital effects, it was done well enough that I couldn't tell. So, credit to them. But also, I just rushed through that scene in 20 seconds. The scene itself is probably 5 minutes long, and it's really good. But there's only so much you could say about and then Sam slowly that's not how I work. Yeah. We cut to the morning outside, and Danny walks up to Sam and says, "Hey, you okay? This isn't your fault, Sam." Sam replies, "But it is. Somebody took our knives, so we couldn't fight back. I don't know who I can trust." Danny whispers back, "They don't trust anyone. Not your friends, not me, not anyone." And then Danny leaves. Ethan shows up, and Chad walks over to him and pins him to a car and says, "Where were you?" Ethan says, "What? When?" Chad says, "Last night." Ethan replies, "What? I had econ. You know this." Chad says, "Bull poop, man. You disappear and my sister almost gets killed." Ethan says, "Dude, I was in a study hall with 100 other people. You can ask any of them." Chad says, "Obscenity, man." Ethan sees the blood and asks, Who? Chad replies, "Annika and Quinn." Ethan starts to walk over towards Mindy and Tara, saying, "Mindy, I'm so sorry." Mindy says, "Step the obscenity back. You're on the top of my list." Ethan says, "I had econ." Poor Ethan had econ.
Yeah, crazy.
Yeah, that's what's really sad. Not that they're blaming him. Poor guy had to go to econ. I don't know. Yeah. Detective Bailey comes out of the apartment building crying. Tara goes over to Sam and Detective Bailey and says, "I'm really sorry about Quinn." Detective Bailey says, "Thank you. Both my kids are gone. My whole family is gone. It took me off the case. But I'm not going to stop till I find him. You obscenity with my family, you die." Sam says, "Agreed." Gail runs up and says, "Hey, are you okay? I came as soon as I heard." Sam says, "Gail, I swear to God." Gail says, Truce, okay? I'm here for whatever you need." Sam replies, "Okay, nice try." Gail says, "Really? I am. Okay, fine. Off the record, okay?" Which, because, that holds up in any way. If she wanted to not,
Yeah, she just says off the record anytime she has to, do things in her personal life.
Yeah. Sam scoffs and says, "Okay, thank you." Tara says, "I'm sorry I punched you." Gail says, "No, you're not." Tara agrees, "I'm not."
Yeah.
Gail says, "You're the cop, right? I did some digging on your first two victims and I found something. I know where the masters are coming from."
Oh.
What?
Well, she says she did some digging. We're like, oh. But then, it's just not important. Anyways, she did some digging, found where the masters are coming from. Yay! And we're gonna go investigate it.
What? I'm really trying to confuse what you were even trying to say.
Oh, don't worry about it. Don't worry about it.
Okay.
Don't worry about it.
Detective Bailey says, "Show me." Kirby arrives and says, "Ladies?" Gail says, "Kirby?" Sam says, "She's with the FBI." Gail says, "She's a child. When did they start letting children into the FBI?" Kirby says, "I'm 30. Gail says, "Well, you look like a zygote."
Which she does not. We'll say. Gail's just old.
Huh? No, she's talking. Gail said that about Kirby.
You're right. I think this is just Gail being old and not being able to come to the facts that she's old.
Well, yeah, Chris, guess what? Kirby definitely does not look like a zygote. She does not look like a couple cells.
Yeah. She also doesn't look that young at all.
No, she looks fine for her age. She doesn't look like old, but no, she doesn't look young. Kirby responds, I have a gun, Gale. Gale says, okay, fine. You're going to want to see this too. We cut to them arriving at a different building with some Ghostface graffiti on the wall. Gale says, Jason and Greg were Little Atlanta rich boys, apparently. They used fake names to rent this place. I definitely put the commas in the wrong places I read that, but it's fine. Kirby asks, how did you find it? Gale responds, it's called investigative journalism for a reason. How didn't you find it? Weren't you tracking them? Kirby says, I went through their financial records dozens of times. This was not in any of them. Doesn't make sense. Gale says, don't worry. I'm just really good at my job. You'll get there. They head inside past double security car doors, and they're in an old movie theater that's a shrine to Ghostface filled with evidence from the past film's killings. There are so many cool little details that I simply don't have time to discuss every little thing, so I won't. I'll only mention the ones that are specifically, like, important, you know?
Yeah.
One that I will mention here, just because, you know, you see it in the shot and it will become important a little bit later in the scene. One I'll mention is on the stage, there are 9 mannequins dressed in Ghostface robes.
Yeah.
Mindy calls Chad over to see their Uncle Randy's old video store uniform. Kirby sees the knife she was stabbed with. Gale stops to look at the Dewey display case. Tara asks, hey, how did they get all this stuff? Isn't this evidence? Gale replies, well, cops like money, and evidence can get lost pretty easy. Present company excluded, of course. I think Kirby, like, flips her off there. I can't remember.
No, I don't think she does, but she does give her a look.
Okay, I thought she flipped her off, but it doesn't really matter. Ethan asks, why am I here exactly? My alibi checks out. Chad says, so I can keep my eye on you, roomie. Gale says, the killer must have found this place before he murdered Jason and Greg, and he took the masks off the mannequins, all 9, from Stu and Billy to Amber and Richie. And you know what? I'm very happy the way she said that. You know, Gale respects Stew's involvement. She's not a racist, I don't know. Yeah, I would try to say like someone who races things, but I realize there isn't a word for that.
Yeah.
And an racist, that's just someone on 4chan.
Yeah.
Bum.
Or
Sam.
Reddit. Or Reddit.
I mean, I feel like at this point, 4chan is more used by only racist, while Reddit has both.
Yeah.
I like using Reddit for like r/horror, okay? So, and there's no racism there. I mean, I'm sure there is, but I haven't seen it, you know?
Oh, yeah. Almost certainly.
Everywhere there's going to be some racism, because people are terrible. Sam goes onto the stage and stares at her dad's robe, the only one behind glass. In the reflection, she sees her dad, Billy Loomis. Sam's psychosis, hallucination of her dad is played by the returning Skeet Ulrich of Scream 1 and 5. Or Scream, sorry. Of Scream and Scream.
Yeah, Scream and Scream.
Billy says, hot dang! How obscenity and cool is this place? Sam replies, obscenity no. Billy responds, obscenity yes! Come on, Sam. You got to be excited to get your murder on again. Together, Billy and Sam, Team Loomis. Get ready to slice up some more mother obscenityers. Sam reaches out her hand to touch the glass when Tara walks up and says, what are you doing? Sam replies, I don't know. Chad says, so somebody killed these chuckle obscenities and took over. This is the movie that has had the most F words since I've started doing the obscenity joke, and different versions of the word where I have to be like, all right, so yeah, mother obscenityers, chuckle obscenities, obscenitied up. It's like, okay, movie. I mean, that's fine. I don't mind. I do still like the obscenity bit, but it's just like, okay, wait, what? Chuckle obscenity? Who says that? I mean, I know I've heard it, but what? We're throwing that into this movie too?
Yeah. We're gonna get all sorts of different flavors of obscenities.
Yeah. Gail says, somebody believes that Sam masterminded Woodsboro. Mindy says, if this was a normal stab movie, this would be the killer's lair. Kirby says, which means this isn't a normal stab movie. Tara walks away upset. Mindy sits down at the front of the stage and is joined by Kirby, who points out what's in front of them, saying, the TV that killed Stumacher. Mindy says, if you believe he's dead. Which is, I believe,
point number 3.
Yeah, point number 3 of the really movie. Which we've said it in our spoiler review before, and I'll probably save that for post thoughts. But yeah, because honestly, on a second watch, I don't feel as strongly as I did watching in the theaters, not knowing what was coming.
Yeah,
but yeah, we'll get to that later. Because we have more Mindy and Kirby conversation. You know what? No, it doesn't work actually. All right, I was thinking about doing a second, Horror Boys theater.
I mean, we can.
All right, I'm Kirby. You're Mindy again.
All right.
Kirby says, I hear you're a horror fan.
Well, it's been said.
Best Nightmare on Elm Street? The original. Best Friday the 13th?
Part 2.
The final chapter. Had a crush on Corey Feldman. We were supposed to say part 2 and the final chapter at the same time, but it's okay, guys. Don't worry about it. I had a crush on Corey Feldman, Chris.
Okay, respect. Psycho 2 is
underrated. We're supposed to say that at the same time, Chris.
Oh, all right.
Kirby joins in and they both say, Can you read your script, Chris?
Underrated.
All right, now keep going.
All right. Well, actually, you keep going.
Oh, am I Kirby? I am Kirby, right?
You are.
It's
only the second one, and it's in the same episode, guys. Forgive us, please.
Candyman, the original or the requel? They both cheat and say both. Which it's cheating. If you asked a question like one of the, you have to choose one. Like I'm sorry, you can like both a lot, but the odds of you liking them exactly the same amount, no.
And as a horror fan, they are both really good.
I haven't seen the requel yet. I do really like the first one.
It is a really solid requel.
And that's fair.
Which is not something that you will find really ever.
Which brings the Candyman quality meter up to a 50-50, from my understanding. Because I believe Candyman 2 and 3 are both terrible. So,
okay. Game recognized game.
We cut to the lobby, where Sam joins Tara. Sam asks, you okay? Tara says, Sam, when do I get to be a normal person again? I really thought that scene was longer when I was doing second Horror Boy theater. It's not. It's really quick, so we didn't even need to do that. But whatever, we did it.
Oops.
When do I get to be a normal person again? Sam replies, I don't know. Tara says,
don't. Spoiler.
I don't want to be a part of this. I don't want to be a part of some stupid legacy because I'm... Sam interrupts. Because of me. I'm sorry. Tara says, just drop it, Sam, and she walks away. Kirby goes after Tara to talk to her. Gail stops to talk to Sam. Gail says, that seemed intense. Sam says, ever since I came back into her life, I've just made a mess of it. Gail says, hey, where's your mother in all this? She cut me off when I told Tara about Billy. Then Tara cut her off because she wouldn't talk to me. So now, neither of us have a mother. Gail says, sorry to say this, but obscenity hurt. My parents suck too, but you can still make your own family, even if it's just with one person. Sam says, and if I lose that one person? Gail replies, you keep going. And maybe you find another loner and you look after each other. Then they hold hands. Aww.
Wow.
We cut to the balcony where Tara and Kirby, where Tara asks Kirby, "How did you get past what happened to you?" Kirby says, "I almost died after I was stabbed. Technically, I did die for 4 minutes. When I recovered, I got mad. I didn't want to spend the rest of my life being afraid of monsters. I wanted the monsters to be afraid of me." Tara says, "I like that." Sam, Gale, and Detective Bailey enter the balcony. Detective Bailey says, "Sorry to interrupt. Think I might have an idea about how to turn the tables on this creep." Gale says, "Yeah, we're in." Kirby says, "Sorry, Gale. No press allowed." police business. I'm good at my job, too.
Yeah.
We cut to Sam and Tara walking in Central Park. At least I assume. It's a park in New York, and I would just have to assume they're using Central Park, Or it's supposed to be. It's probably not.
There's a good chance it's not.
Yeah, but this movie was shot in Montreal, so I'm almost certain it's not. Unless they flew him out for this one scene, which feels not necessary. I'm sure there's a park in Montreal they could shoot in. And if you frame it right, you won't be able to tell.
Yeah.
The plan is for Ghostface to call them and Kirby to trace the call while Detective Bailey looks around to see if he can find the person making the call. Kirby is in a van with Mindy, Chad, and Ethan. Mindy says, "So we're really doing the phone tracing thing that never works in the movies? It'll be all, keep him talking, Sam. 2 more minutes. I almost got him." And then he hangs up just before we can get a lock. Kirby says, "I can trace a call in under 15 seconds. Mindy says, "Well, you got them out there as bait." Kirby says, "Because the killer usually calls from somewhere nearby." Mindy says, "And you think they're safe because it's broad daylight in a public place?" Kirby says, "Look, I'm here, okay? And so is Bailey." Mindy says, "This is exactly how our Uncle Randy died. Broad daylight, public space, yanked into a van, stab, 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 no more Randy." Kirby says, "Huh. Yeah. Hey, Sam, stay frosty out there, okay?" Sam says, "We're good." Sam gets a call from Richie's number again. She answers and says, "You're gonna die, you know." Ghostface says, "No, you're gonna die, Samantha. Choking on your own blood while I hack up your sister." I just want to real quick say, without going into it too much, because I don't want to spoil, because I like to try to keep the movie for people who don't know, and this is such a movie like this that has like a reveal. But spoiler, there are more than one Ghostface, because this isn't Scream 3.
Yeah.
And I just want to say that I love the different like tones and way Ghostface talks.
Yeah.
When you know which Ghostface it has to be. Like, spoiler, without telling you who at all, we know which Ghostface this has to be.
Right.
And they are acting like they do later when they are revealed.
Right.
Like, the way this Ghostface just snapped at Sam like that fits that character so well. And I think that's actually genuinely really good.
Yeah. I would say the writing in this movie is pretty darn solid. In my opinion of this movie on a second watch, has well, I guess I should probably save this.
Probably save that.
So I'm gonna save it till after.
Yeah. I mean, I think you basically just spelled it out, but save the official statement till the end.
Yeah, official. Actually, I think this on the second watch, I hate this movie.
Yeah, I don't think that's how you were gonna say it. So, but all right, yeah.
So anyway,
Sam replies,
like, "Yeah, I gotta get you."
Yeah, Sam replies, "Unless we find you first." Ghostface says, "For a mastermind, you're not very bright. Waiting for me to call, desperately hoping I'm nearby so the police can grab me? But I'm not nearby. I'm a step ahead. Be seeing you, Samantha." Ghostface hangs up, and Sam asks Kirby if she got it, and starts to say Kirby starts to say where in town it is, and Tara realizes it's Gail's apartment. We cut to Gail complaining that Kirby didn't let her come, and we see her boyfriend, Brooks, who's played by Thomas Cadrop. We cut back to Sam and Tara running with Detective Bailey, who tries to tell them to take a minute to think about what to do. But Sam's like, "No, we don't have time." And Tara steals his cop car, and Sam gets in, and they drive away. Yeah, just some good old cop car thievery. Back to Gail. Wait, back to Gail. Back to Gail's, as in her place.
Right.
Comma. Didn't have a comma there, but it needs to be one. Brooks answers a phone call thinking it's food, but it's actually Ghostface. So Gail takes the phone and tells Brooks to go call the cops. Ghostface says, "Hello, Gail. Strange you and I have never spoken on the phone. This is long overdue." I'll pause here to say that when I first saw this, like, how would Ghostface know that? Because Ghostface is never the same. But I don't know, I second watch when I was thinking about it. Well, Gail did, write a book about every time, and she probably mentioned how she never got a call from Ghostface. So I'm actually okay with it. It was something I thought was an issue, but now I think about it, Gail wrote books about what happened, so she probably mentioned how it never happened in the book, you know?
I also thought this was an issue the first time I watched it, and yeah.
But when I thought about it, actually, I think, with Gail, I actually don't think it is. Because she wrote these books, she probably did, or at the very least, Ghostface could have,
and I also thought this was a moment number 4 when I initially watched it.
Because of the no call? Knowing that? Or...
Yeah.
I'm just trying to figure out why here. Is it later in the dialogue or just that line?
Just that line.
Oh, okay. I mean, I feel like the moment number 4, which once again, we haven't said what it means yet, I feel like it would only account for one of the 5 movies, so it would still be kind of a complete guess if it wasn't for her books.
Yeah.
But yeah, so the point is, I thought this was an issue, but as I thought about it, it might actually not be.
Yeah. Turns out the writing still is pretty good.
It is also probably a situation where, I'll be honest, the writers probably didn't think about that. Like, nothing against them. They do a good job. I doubt they went, oh, it's okay, because I'm sure Gail said it in her book. They probably just went, hey, this has never happened. Let's say how it never happened. And they lucked into it actually making sense. And that's fine. Like, I'm not like, because here's the thing, if it didn't make sense, I still as a fan was like, oh my gosh, you're right. Because I had never thought about that. Somehow it was something I never put that connection together, that they had never talked. So I did need the movie to go, oh yeah, they never have had a call.
Like, guess what? They never talked.
Whoa! But yeah. So yeah, he says it's long overdue. Gail says, I agree. Ghostface says, I figured after all these years you'd want an interview. Gail says, well, you figured right. So what's your motive this time? You angry at the movies or just trying to stay relevant? Ghostface says, I could ask you the same. Don't you know that legacy characters are disposable now? Nobody cares about the last century's heroes. Gail asks then, why bother with me at all? Ghostface responds, call it nostalgia. Maybe you deserve to be punished for all that money you made off the misery of others. Maybe it's time someone made a buck reporting your death. You know, I mean, honestly, not unfair statement there. I mean, fair enough, actually. You know, actually, I'm on Ghostface's side. Kill Gail. I'm kidding. Gail's awesome. But Gail says, you know, you're like the 10th guy to try this. Technically, it would be at least... If there was only one Ghostface here, this would be like the 11th person. Or 12th if we count Greg, who never got to actually wear it.
Right.
But yeah, so at least 11th person. Once again, we're forgetting Jason. Why are we forgetting Jason?
What is with this Jason erasure?
Why are we erasing Jason X? The 10th Ghostface. How dare you? Because you also like that movie.
Yeah.
Don't you dare leave me on a hill to be alone being the Jason X apologist of this podcast. We both liked Jason X, and so did Isaiah. We all liked it. It's a fun time.
It's such a silly movie.
Yes, and some people were way too hard on it.
Yeah.
As well as the remake. I'll say it. Yeah. Come at me, commenters. Ooh, yeah. Sorry. I was relishing their future hatred for us.
So anyways.
Nostalgia. Or you deserve to die. Gail says, you know you're like the 10th guy to try this, right? And spoiler alert, it never works out for the dip poop in the mask.
Yeah.
Behind her, we see Brooks grabbed by Ghostface. I don't know if I noticed this the first time I watched it, but it's really cool to see it when you're like, oh, he got grabbed. No. Ghostface says, oh, but they certainly leave a mark before they go, don't they? Richie and Amber managed to butcher Dewey, carved him up like a Christmas goose. How does it feel to lose the only man who ever loved you? Gail says, obscenity, you. Ghostface continues, how does it feel to know that you weren't there for him in the end? Not there to give him comfort as he died, screaming in his own guts. Gail says, you're the one who's going to die screaming. Ghostface says, maybe, but you won't be around to see it. You couldn't stop what happened to Dewey. Just like you're not going to be able to stop this. Brooks's body is thrown through a bookshelf, revealing Ghostface in the house to Gale. I'll say, pause here. This is another one of those moments which I'm fine with, because I'm fine with it being like borderline mystical. But this has been technically a flaw with every Scream movie. Well, no, not the first two, because those were two burly teenage dudes. But Ghostface, due to who Ghostface would have to be in this scene, is way too strong to be able to take out Brooks and throw him through a bookshelf like this.
Especially if he was a dead body, because dead weight is... It's a lot, especially when it's a muscly man.
Yeah,
is what they describe him as.
Now, here's the thing. I don't care. Like, I really don't. Like, it's not a thing that I'll ever... Like, here's the thing. It's a horror movie. I'm willing to suspend my disbelief and, like, live in this world that's somewhat different than the real world, even though it feels like it's supposed to be the real world. Like, the fact that, oh my gosh, how did, Chad live in the last movie? Like, I don't care. Because it's a happy ending. That's why. It's a movie. It's not real. It doesn't matter if he should have been dead, because he doesn't have to be, Yeah.
Wait, this isn't real?
Yeah. So yeah, but I will point it out as something that someone could say is a flaw, and I would actually technically have trouble arguing against. I would say I don't care, but I would not be able to argue that it isn't technically a flaw if they wanted to call it one.
Yeah.
Right. We then get a chase scene, which I'll also pause here to mention once again. Hey, chase scenes are back. People complained about how there wasn't like any chase scenes in Scream 5, and they said, okay, fine, we'll give you like 12. And it's awesome. Chase scenes are fun. We get a chase scene where Gale hits Ghostface with a frying pan, then makes its way onto her balcony patio before heading back inside. Gale locks herself in her bedroom while Ghostface bangs on the door. She gets her gun out of her gun safe and shoots the door twice. The banging stops. She asks, how's that for nostalgia, obscenity-er? Ghostface calls her and says, you missed. Gale says, sure I did. Ghostface says, you win. I'm in the elevator, heading to the ground floor. Gale responds, sure you are, and shoots at the door 2 more times. Ghostface says, maybe you did hit me. Maybe I'm wounded. Or maybe I'm wearing a bulletproof vest. Gale says, that's why I'm going to shoot you in the obscenity head. She opens the door to no Ghostface.
Oh.
Ghostface says, you would have made a good killer, Gale. Sidney never would have made sense, and Dewey was the fan favorite. But you cracking under the pressure and turning into Ghostface would have been a great twist. Gale says, keep talking, butthole. Ghostface says, sure, what do you want to talk about? You never got to be the leading lady, did you? It was always about that poor, sweet Sidney, sucking up all the oxygen. What did that leave you to be? Gale responds, the brains and the music appeal. Ghostface says, sorry about your boyfriend. All those muscles didn't help much. Gale says, they sure didn't. Can you hold, please? And she hangs up and calls right back, and hears the ringing from outside of her front door. So she shoots at it. We hear Ghostface grunt as if he were hit, and we don't see it, so we don't know for sure, but it sounds like it for sure. Ghostface then bursts through the door and stabs Gale on the shoulder. Then on her side, she throws Ghostface off and tries to get away. She uses her last bit of energy to flip Ghostface through her glass coffee table. She picks up Ghostface's knife and is about to stab him, but Ghostface stabs her in the gut with a shard of glass. Ghostface gets his knife back and goes to stab her in the head. She holds him off long enough for Sam to come in and try to shoot Ghostface. Ghostface runs away. Sam and Tara go over to check on Gale. Sam apologizes. Gale says, he didn't get me. Tell Sidney he never got me. Gale passes out. Paramedics arrive and say that Gale has a weak pulse and take her to the hospital. Bum bum. Gale is alive, I guess, for some reason.
Yeah, Gale survives, which honestly is not the most outrageous of the.
No, but it just
survived.
also it feels more pointless. If that
it does feel pretty pointless.
Like I like Gale, and maybe it's a situation where she's the only of the original cast members they can bring back if Sidney doesn't want to come back. So they want to be able to still have an original cast member in the movies. So like I kind of get that, but it's also like I think she should have just died here, and that's okay. Like it would have been sad, but like, yeah, sometimes you gotta do that, and that's okay. But they chose not to. And that was I'll talk about that later. I'll talk about a thought that just came to my mind later that I thought was a problem that I actually, due to one little bit of dialogue, I went, crap, is that technically not a flaw now? So we'll get to that when we get to that. We cut to the hospital waiting room with the Core 4 and Ethan. Danny arrived and says, I got here as fast as I could. Tara says, did you? Mindy says, I'm scared, you guys. I really don't want to get hurt again. Chad says, neither do I. Mindy says, I don't want you to get hurt again either. Chad says, I know. So what do we do now? Sam says, maybe he gets to win this time. The others look at her like she's crazy. Sam continues, he wants to punish me. So maybe I let him. I'll just give myself up. If this is what I have to do to keep you safe, it's worth it. Tara says, no, we're not doing that, Sam. You went back to Woodsboro to protect me. Every single day you make the decision to protect me. None of us would even be alive if it weren't for you. You have to let us to protect you this time. Sam says, no. Tara says, yes, we're a team, remember? Mindy says, actually, we're a family. Chad says,
family.
And then Vin Diesel rolls in and is like, I'm here to help kill Ghostface.
And then he does a cool stunt in the car.
But then The Rock shows up and they get in a fight unrelated to the movie.
Yeah. And then Jason Statham's also there for reasons.
Hi, I'm here. I have no problem with either guy. I'll work with either of them.
Hey, I'm also in a movie with The Rock.
I am Hobbs or Shaw.
Yeah, one of the two. I don't know.
I don't watch those
One day we'll watch those movies for another channel.
Yeah, for
maybe.
boys, our new movie podcast. Because we can't be movie boys, because that's already taken. So
yeah, I'd so be down with being the boys.
the Boys podcast. It's our non-horror movie review podcast. Why is it called Boys? Because Movie Boys was taken.
Yeah. We're just the boys being boys.
Yeah. Sam says, oh no, I said that. And Chad says, let's go. Core 4, come on. Danny says, Core what? Chad tells him, it's the Nuss thing. Sam says, he's going to keep coming after us. Ethan asks, is there somewhere safe we could just hole up in? Tara says, no, he's just going to keep finding us. We could use that, though. We cut to Detective Bailey's end of a phone call, where Tara explains the plan of luring Ghostface to a secure location and killing him. Detective Bailey likes the idea, but can't leave the station, but suggests the theater and says he'll have Kirby meet them there. He closes with, and remember, travel in public. The more people around you, the less chance he has to take a shot at you before you get there. They head down to the subway. They are on 96th Street, which I am sure is a nod to the OG's release. Getting on the train, Mindy and Ethan... Actually, I'll real quick pause here. I'm not going to mention them later, but there is like a little...
Bajillion costumes?
Yeah, there's a cameo of like any horror character you could ever want as a costume on this train station or trains. Yeah. You name a horror character, they are probably shown.
Yeah. And also, randomly, Samara Weaving's character from...
Ready or Not?
Ready or Not?
I mean...
Yeah.
That makes sense. I don't know if I'd call it randomly. I've definitely seen people dress up like her.
Yeah.
That's a popular movie. It's a popular horror movie.
And also, she's in this movie, so,
yeah,
it definitely isn't random.
Yeah, no, it's also, that's a radio silence movie.
Silence movie? Yeah.
Yeah. No, it's
definitely... There's a litany of reasons why she could be in here.
Yeah.
I take it back, it is not random.
Yeah, it's not random at all. It actually makes all the sense in the world. But yeah, so they're all there. Every horror character you can think of. And actually, I'll pause real quick to say a little fun fact. They wanted to do that, but they were like, oh, there's no way we'll ever get legal to approve this. We'll try. But, like, legal came back and was like, yeah, no, you can do it. But, like, they can't do any of the things they're known for. Like, Freddy can't, like, hold up his glove or anything like that. But, like, anything that, like, makes you go, oh, that's this person, you can't. Like, you could have just the costumes. So, yeah.
Interesting.
I think also another one of the rules is Also, they can't be in the trailer, which then they ended up being in the trailer. So,
Oops.
I guess that got lifted or something. Getting on the train, Mindy and Ethan don't make it on the first train. Mindy tells Ethan, "Get your Ghostface butt away from me, Ghostface," and has him not near her. On both trains, there are a bunch of ghost faces because it's a really popular Halloween costume. Mindy doesn't have reception and can't respond to Chad's text. On train 1, which is not Mindy and Chad, obviously.
Right.
But that's how I'm going to refer to the two trains. When we cut back and forth, there's train 1 and train 2. So, on train 1, it looks like Ghostface is coming towards them, but he turns and leaves to get off the train. Then on train 2, we get a really suspenseful scene where Mindy sees a Ghostface sitting down, and then when the lights start flickering, he gets closer and closer, before seemingly disappearing when the lights... But then the lights flicker again, one more time, and he's right in her face. He puts his hand over her mouth and stabs her in the gut twice, but the people around her are either asleep or have headphones on, so they don't notice. At the stop, the train clears, and Ethan sees her and runs over to help her get off the train and yells for medical help. Ethan asks, "Are you okay?" Mindy, in excruciating pain, still jokingly says, "Yeah, I'm so good." Ethan says, "You're going to be okay. You're going to be okay." Mindy says, "Gosh, dang it. I got it wrong again. What the obscenity? Obscenity, this franchise." We cut to the others arriving outside the theater. Kirby says, "I talked to Bailey. I've got everything set up." "Where are Mindy and Ethan?" Tara replies, "They're 5 minutes behind us." Kirby says, "Let's get you all inside." Sam turns to Danny and says, "Not you." Danny says, "What?" Sam explains, "Don't trust anyone, remember? We don't know you. Not really." Danny says, "You know me." Sam continues, "You're not Woodsboro. I'm sorry." Danny says, "It's okay. It's okay. I get it. Be safe, okay?" He gives her a kiss on the cheek, and she replies, "You too." Danny leaves. Kirby says to Sam, "Good call." Inside, Kirby says, "I cleared the whole place before you got here, so this is the only way in or out." He steps in through the first door. Both doors lock automatically, trapping him inside. We turn it into a kill box. Sam asks, "Weapons?" Kirby responds, "One gun, and I held on to it. I'm the only one with a badge here, and that's the way it's going to be. We're safe here." Sam says, "I'm going to check in with Mindy. See if they're close." Sam calls Mindy from the stage, but Mindy doesn't pick up. Then, Billy Hallucination says, "You know you're not safe here. Whenever someone says we're safe here, it means you're not." Sam says, "Not now." Billy continues, "But you're smarter than this, Sam. Grab a weapon and clear the place yourself. You know I'm right." She grabs his knife from the display case, and he adds, "Excellent choice. My favorite." Sam hears a door close in the distance and calls out for Kirby and doesn't get an answer. Then she gets a call from Detective Bailey, who says, "Get everyone out of there. Sam, you're not safe. I heard from the Atlanta field office. They said Agent Reed's been on a downward spiral ever since the Woodsboro murders last year." Sam asks, "What are you talking about?" Detective Bailey says, "They fired Kirby 2 months ago for not being mentally stable. She's no longer with the FBI." Bum, bum. He hangs up, and Sam goes running to check the front gate that has now been padlocked and chained. Then the lights get turned off, and home video fan film of Stab is playing on the screen. We cut to the concession stand, where where Tara and Chad are. They have a quick conversation about an old box of candy before Chad goes in for a big old kiss. The moment is ruined when Ghostface runs in and stabs Tara in the back. Dang Ghostface. Always being a blocker starring John Cena.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. I wonder. We'll never know because they don't tell you.
Huh?
I'll bring it up in a scene or two.
Okay.
Chad's able to knock Ghostface down with a punch and then kicks him. Tara and Chad.
Oh.
Yeah, I think you figured it out. Okay.
Yep.
Yeah, Tara and Chad run away and join up with Sam. Sam tells them that Kirby is the killer. They see an exit door up in the balcony, but can't go to it before Ghostface jumps out from behind the movie screen. Ghostface cuts Tara in the arm. Sam drops her knife. Ghostface swings at Chad and knocks the head off a mannequin. Chad yells, "Beheadings!" Then he tackles Ghostface to the ground and knocks him back with an old news camera saying, "Smile for the camera, mother obscenity-er." Him and the girls run on stage and out a hallway that leads to the concession stand. Ghostface chases after them in the tight hallway. Chad throws the camera back at Ghostface. Ghostface tries to slash at Chad, but the girls pull Ghostface back and Chad punches him while they hold him back. Once Ghostface hits the ground, Tara hits a big old punt kick to his face. Chad is about to drop a gumball machine on Ghostface's head when a second Ghostface stabs him in the side. The two Ghostfaces work together and stab Chad a bunch of times. Chad, with a mouthful of blood, tells a distraught Tara to run. The Ghostfaces do a double version of the classic Ghostface knife clean. Awesome moment.
Yeah.
The Stu Macher knife clean, I will add. Once again, Stu Macher erasure. He's the one who did the knife clean. Best guy ever. Iconic thing that every Ghostface copies, even though there's no way for them to know it ever happened.
Sure.
Because the only person who even saw that was Sidney. It's not like even Gale saw it and wrote it in the first book. So, there's no explanation for how they've always known to clean the knife like that. It's cool, so I don't mind, but there's no way it makes any sense. But it's awesome, because we got the double knife clean. Tara and Sam run into the theater, but Ghostface jumps out from behind the screen. They back up, and there's the other Ghostface. Sam arms her and Tara with bricks. Sam asks, "Ready? I need you to be ready." "Ready? Look at me." Tara says, "I'm ready." She then yells to Ghostface, "Come on, mother obscenity-er!" But the Ghostfaces scatter before anything happens because a bloodied Kirby comes in shooting her gun. They don't trust her because they think she's the killer. Kirby tries to explain. "One of them knocked me out." Detective Bailey comes in with his gun, pointed at Kirby and says, "Kirby, stop! Get away from the girls!" Kirby asks, "What are you doing?" Detective Bailey says, "Did you kill Quinn? Did you kill my daughter?" Kirby says, "Whatever he's been saying to you, don't listen to him. He's probably the killer. Behind you!" Ghostface walks up behind Detective Bailey, and Detective Bailey shoots Kirby 4 times. He tells Ghostface, "Great job." As the other Ghostface walks up, he adds, "Both of you." Alright. So we're going to do another theater. I try to figure out what the breakdown I want it to be.
Right.
I'll be Ghostfaces. You be the Carpenter sisters.
Okay.
Alright. I believe you are the first line.
All right.
Tara.
Tara says, "You?"
Detective Bailey says, "Yeah, of course me. Frankly, I expected more from the two of you. After what you did to us."
Tara says, "What do you mean, us?"
One of the Ghostfaces reveals, "He's Ethan," and says, "Mindy was right. It was easy to juke the roommate lottery. All I had to do to meet you was room with a conceited, condescending alpha literally named Chad. Obscenity, it felt good to kill him. This was your grandmother's, Sam. Nancy Loomis. Really runs in your obscenity family, doesn't it?" Speaking of family, Detective Bailey says, "Wait for it." Ethan continues, "My name is not Ethan Landry, is it, Dad?"
Tara questions, "Dad?" Sam says, "Wait, if it's you two, that just leaves Mindy?"
The last Ghostface reveals she's Quinn, who says, "Hey, roomies, you didn't see that one coming, did you?" Pause. This is that literally a scene ago where I went, did she block her starring John
again?
Cena them twice? And I didn't even think about
probably.
that until we were going through it in the notes when I tried to I made the blockers joke again, and I was like, oh, it could have been her doing it twice. That's never revealed. We'll never know. But at least in my headcanon, that is a fact now. She blocked them in the room and then there.
Yeah.
All right,
Tara
now Tara
says, "Yeah, because you died."
Quinn says, "Kinda didn't, though. It was a good way to get off the suspect list. Stab Gail Weathers, stab Mindy on the train, that sort of thing." Detective Bailey says, "Yep, and I just made sure I was the first one on the scene so I could switch her body out with a fresh one. A little fake blood, a prosthetic. You'd be amazed what a grieving father can get away with." Quinn says, I got Stu Macher's mask. He's my favorite. And you know what?
Respect.
I was going to say the same thing.
Yeah.
Detective Bailey says, nice. That's number 3. He points at Quinn. Oh, sorry. I skipped a line. Sorry. I got smart. He's my favorite. Ethan places the mask of Billy's mother on the mannequin with her suit. Detective Bailey says, nice. That's number 3. He points at Quinn's mask and says, that's 2, which leaves... He pulls out the last mask and continues. Your father's. This is what we've been counting down to, Sam. I'm going to need you to put it on.
And Sam swats away the mask, saying, obscenity, you.
Ethan runs up and cuts her arm.
And Terry yells, you stay the obscenity away from her.
Sam asks... Oh, sorry, yeah. I forgot.
What? What is this? You did this as a family?
Quinn says, hell yeah, bad woman. You should know better than anyone. Ethan says, you're still not getting it.
Sam says, I don't know what you believe, but I didn't commit those murders in Woodsboro. It wasn't me.
Detective Bailey says, oh, we know that. Of course you didn't. What, you think this is based off some bullpoop conspiracy theory? Come on. Who do you think started the rumors about you in the first place? Quinn raises her hand and says, do you know how easy it was to turn Sam from the hero of Woodsboro into the villain? How easy it was to convince the world to believe the worst in people rather than the best? Ethan says, because it's not enough to kill someone these days. You have to assassinate their character first. So when Dad here discovers your horribly mutilated bodies posed with Sam wearing her father's mask, he'll say some poor dumb bastard. I don't have a word for that, so I'm just going to say it. Sorry, guys. Read on the internet that you're the real Ghostface and took matters into their own hands, Detective Bailey says. Exactly. That's why it's the perfect alibi. And all the best lies are based on the truth. And you're a killer, just like your father.
Sam yells, no, I'm not.
The way you delivered that, though, it's not the lie. It was like, no, I'm not. How dare you? That's definitely not how she said it, but I like it. I like your take.
Thanks.
Quinn says, yes, you are, you mother obscenity. You killed our brother. Here, right there, is pointing out real quick. That right there, like I said earlier, how that other Ghostface had to be someone, had to be her, because of where the other two were. And it's the passion she has here when she gets angry. She gets angry way easier than the other two. And I think that's a really great detail earlier with the Ghostface. Sorry.
Sam says, what are you talking about? Sarah says, you said your brother died in a car accident.
Lost my place. Sorry. Give me a second.
Ethan says,
No. Sorry. No. You sweet, dumb thing. He died in Woodsboro at the hands of your bad woman sister.
Sam says, you're Richie's family.
Detective Bailey dramatically says, yeah. Ethan says, ding, ding, ding. She's finally starting to get it. And he stabs her in the shoulder. The girls try to run away. Detective Bailey says, Now, it wasn't until I saw the photograph of what you actually did done to him. We're just gonna keep it for the rest of the time they're around. You're gonna do the girls, and I'm gonna do them, just because. Change it up. We're changing the podcast, guys.
Crazy.
What you've actually done to him that I knew. Ethan and Quinn surround Sam and Tara. Detective Bailey continues. That I knew you had to obscenity and die. You had to be punished. Along with anyone who stands in our way.
And Sam gets angry eyes, going...
And Quinn puts a knife to her throat and says, there she is. There's the obscenity and killer.
Sarah says, real great parenting job, by the way.
Quinn says, shut your bad woman obscenitying mouth. Quinn pushes Sam and Tara back into the middle of the room. Detective Bailey says, have I been a perfect dad? No. May have overindulged Richie's love of these little movies? Yeah, maybe. For me, they're just a little dark. But Richie really loved them. He loved them. He even made up a few of his own. Did you know? On the screen, we see the movie that's been playing has Richie in it. Richie is played by the returning Jack Quaid. He's not credited at all, but I believe I have heard that he actually did film some scenes for this.
Believe it.
Yeah, like it wasn't like AI or any weird crap. They actually like brought him in. Probably aged him down a little bit, but
Yeah.
Detective Bailey continues. There's a very special bond between a father and his first son, which is why I helped him build this collection.
Sam says, "This was all his?"
Detective Bailey says, yes, he's a very passionate collector, and he's inspired others. He had to kill those 2 wannabe film students because, well, we had to kill you first, Sam. I put the theater in their name. Then good old Detective Bailey would have just stumbled on it. But I didn't have to, because by golly, that Gale Weathers is one hell of a journalist. I built a tribute to my son, which is why this is where you have to die, Sam, surrounded by all the things he loved the most.
Sam says, "What happens next? What after you... Wait, what? What? After you're done with
it is. I
you
believe
just
that's actually
disappeared?"
line, yeah. It's like a what? And then she like kind of continues, and it doesn't grammatically make sense, but I believe that is what she said.
Yeah, that tracks.
Detective Bailey responds, no, we gotta hurry over to the hospital and make sure that Mindy and Gale don't pull through. Because everybody does. Everybody dies. Not does. Everybody does, Sam.
Everybody does.
Everybody dies, Sam. Everyone who had anything to do with the death of my son suffers and dies. Now put on the mask.
Sam says, "He was so pathetic."
Detective Bailey says, that's not true.
Sam continues, "Yeah, your son, he was a man baby who made his girlfriend do all the killing."
Detective Bailey says, he was a strong, virile young man.
Sam responds, "He was a limp, musically challenged little obscenity who cried before I slit his throat."
Quinn yells, shut the obscenity up! And starts to run at Sam, but Tara knocks her out with a brick. Kirby then shows back up and fires a gun at Detective Bailey, hitting him in the chest, giving the girls a chance to run away. We see a shot of Quinn coughing up blood in her teeth. Ethan runs towards Kirby and tackles her to the ground. He then stabs her in the gut. Sam runs over and knocks him out with a brick to the back of the head. Or knocks him off, sorry.
Yeah. Sam says, "Sorry, but I kind of need this," and pulls the knife out of Kirby's gut.
Kirby tells Sam, obscenity him up. Ethan gets up and runs over and stabs... Ethan gets up and Sam runs over and stabs him 6 times in the chest.
Yeah.
Tara, halfway up the scaffolding to the balcony, yells out, just say Sam.
For Sam to follow her up?
She actually just says Sam, but I wrote it differently because we were doing this like, theater styles. Like, just say Sam, Chris. Say Sam. Yell for Sam.
Sam!
Thank you. So at that point, Sam stops stabbing Ethan and starts heading towards her. She grabs Kirby's gun on the way. They have to cross over the railing on the balcony to get past some knocked over chairs. Tara slips when Detective Bailey shoots his gun towards her. She's hanging on as Sam tries to pull her up. Ethan is swiping at her feet. Sam looks over and sees Quinn went up the stairs and is now on the balcony. Tara
tells Sam, "Let me go." Sam says, "No."
Ethan taunts, "Yeah, let her go, Sam. Come on."
Tara says, "Trust me, you have to let me go." Sam gives Tara the knife, and she drops her, and she lands on Ethan, who stabs her in the gut. But Tara stabs him in the mouth, which is sick, by the way.
Yeah, it really is.
And holds the knife before twisting it and saying, "Now die an obsidian virgin, having
Chris!
never played harmonica."
Chris!
Oh, yeah.
It's having never played
he's a virgin who never played harmonica. He never got to play harmonica.
But we
So
don't
he was
say
a
the
virgin
word virgin,
at
Chris.
playing harmonica.
We don't say the word virgin, Chris.
Well, it is in context of playing harmonica. So it's very important. You have to consider that.
Well, then she pulls out the knife and is sprayed with blood.
Yeah.
Sam picks up the gun and tells Quinn,
"Looks like you're down another brother."
jeez, ah! And runs towards
Pretty
her. Quinn screams. But Sam shoots her right in the head.
Yeah.
Detective Bailey is revealed to be standing behind Quinn when she falls over.
which is kind of funny, but also not.
Yeah, it's a good way.
But it is.
Yeah.
It is, as an audience member, pretty funny.
Yeah. Sam says.
Always got to shoot him in the head.
She goes to shoot him, but the gun is out of bullets. They both run at each other screaming, and they end up tumbling over the railing, falling to the floor, with Detective Bailey crashing through a display case. We fade to black. Detective Bailey comes to and arms himself with a backup gun on his ankle, and gets up to look for Sam. He gets a phone call, and it's Sam. Wait, it's Ghostface. Wait, no, it's Sam using the Ghostface voice modulator. Ghostface Sam says,
Hello, Detective Bailey. I've got one question for you.
Detective Bailey replies, Oh yeah? What's that? He starts to head toward the stage.
And Ghostface Sam says, What's your favorite scary movie?
They said the line! Detective Bailey chuckles and says, Favorite scary movie?
Ghostface Sam says, I'm asking because you're in one now. You're in my movie.
Detective Bailey hears running and shoots some of the Ghostface mannequins and notices Billy's costume is missing. He says, Oh, I see you put on your true face, huh? Your birthright. Poetic, you're gonna die in it.
Ghostface Sam says, This is what you wanted, isn't it?
Detective Bailey shoots another mannequin and says, Now, you know the truth, huh? Murder's in your blood. He hears more running and says, Stop upsetting around and show yourself.
Ghostface Sam says, Be careful what you wish for.
Detective Bailey says, All right, I'm an upsetting police officer. How do you think this is gonna go? Sam, who do you think they're gonna believe, huh?
Ghostface Sam says, Probably the one who's still alive.
Detective Bailey gets angry and slams his phone. As Ghostface Sam walks up behind him, he turns around and she starts just stabbing him like crazy. She takes off the mask and raises the knife for the killing blow, but Tara walks in, so she stops.
Sam says, My father was a murderer. No matter what you think, I'm better than that.
Detective Bailey, coughing on his own blood, says, Thank you. Tara gives Sam a, come on, look.
And Sam says, But you did obscenity with our family. So, he stabs him one last time right through the eye.
And now I'll play Tara. Tara says, Nice.
Sam replies with, Thanks. You okay?
Tara laughs and says, No. Red Right Hand starts to play again. Sam and Tara walk out from behind the screen and take a seat on the edge of the stage. Tara says, Thank you for letting me go.
Sam replies, I knew you could take care of yourself. I want to be in your life, but only as much as you want me to be.
Tara says, I want you to be. I promise you. I'm going to get so much therapy after this. I'm serious. We're going to get through this together. Their sisterly bonding moment is interrupted by a still-alive Ethan running towards them, but he's stopped short by Kirby pushing the TV on his head. Kirby says, I saw that in a scary movie once.
Yeah.
A bunch of cops come in, being led there by Danny, who had gone their help. He tells them, I called Mount Sinai, and Mindy and Gail are going to be okay. Mindy's on her way here right now. They couldn't stop her. I guess I'm playing Tara too, I already said. So Tara says, Not bad, cute boy. They all head outside. Kirby getting loaded on him. I might just do the rest at this point because it's, yeah. Thank you, though, for helping me. I do think that will be a regular thing. I will have you help me in like heavily dialogue scenes that will go back and forth. As
I think that makes sense.
Yeah, as like an audio play rather than Austin just says 4 paragraphs of dialogue. Yeah. So Tara says, Not bad, cute boy. They all head outside. Kirby's getting loaded on an ambulance and says, If you ever need me, call. We're all part of the same obscenity up family now. And legacy doesn't always have to be a bad thing. Tara starts crying because of what happened to Chad. Then an EMT wheels out somehow still alive Chad. Woo! Yeah!
Woo! New Dewey!
Yeah, New Dewey! Sam and Tara run over to him. Sam asks, How are you alive? He holds up 4 fingers. And Tara says, Core obsceniting 4. She then pulls off his oxygen mask and kisses him before quickly apologizing and putting the mask back on. Mindy runs up and says, Are you guys okay? I know who the killer is. It's Ethan and Bailey. Sam says, And Quinn. Mindy says, And Quinn? Obscenity. Did I miss the monologue again? Are you okay? Are you okay? You don't look okay. We all survived! It's a twist on a twist! They give me a lot of drugs. Mindy and Tara head to the ambulance with Chad. Sam dramatically looks down at Billy's mask she's still holding. Tara says, Sam? Coming? Sam drops the mask as the upbeat Still Alive by Demi Lovato starts to play. Her and Tara walk off as the camera does the end of Scream movie panning up and back and shot of the moving up and back shot. And then we get our credits. I like the movie. Whoa, Austin likes a Scream or Chucky movie? I know, it's crazy. It's going to be really hard for either of those to make a movie bad enough that I won't like it. But yeah, I think this movie is really good. I like what it did differently, as well as just being good. It's so well written. A lot of issues I had with it on a second watch weren't as bad. Like I was gonna say, I had initially, when I was first watching it, I was like, oh, we're gonna totally bring up how all the rules are completely not even halfway followed in this movie because everyone lives. But then there's that one line at the end from Mindy where she goes, a twist on a twist. None of us died. And I'm like, crap. Screw you, movie. Like, in a good way, but like, screw you, movie. You did get me. I guess that's not a flaw. Dang it.
I've been had.
Ah, dang it. I was supposed to expect the unexpected. They all have to live. But yeah, and then elephant in the room. Chris mentioned there was a fourth one. I only saw 3 personally, but it was the red herring. It was the red herring of it being Stu Macher. Which, my first viewing, I still really liked the movie, but I did hold that a lot more against this movie because, one, like, I felt like they were teasing it a little too hard for it not to happen, especially with it being something I wanted so bad. I love Stu. And, I'd heard, Wes Craven even at one point in one of his or maybe it was Kevin Williamson actually started. Kevin Williamson, because he was the writer. Kevin Williamson, his original idea for 3 was that Stu was still alive. Eventually, he wasn't able to do the movie, and when it was rewritten, he wasn't, and that's fine, Stu could have been dead. But then in the last movie, Radio Silence put a little YouTube link that on the page while Richie was watching YouTube that said Stu Macher still alive theory kind of video. I was like, oh crap, are we gonna have a Stu Macher still alive thing? And then this movie's they're counting down to the beginning. They're wearing old masks, and I'm like, oh my gosh, Stu's got his old mask and is about to kill everyone. Stu's back, and then Mindy's like, hey, Stu's alive. Stu could be alive, and I was like, oh, Stu could be alive. Yes, I could now, looking at it, knowing what I know, go, oh yeah, her kind of saying it kind of means it's definitely not happening. Yeah. But in the moment, I'm like, oh my gosh, Stu's coming back, because I want Stu to come back, because I love, Stu Macher's my favorite Ghostface. So I was like, oh, Stu's back. Honestly, it wouldn't have made that much sense in this movie, especially without Sydney. But yeah. But still, my point is, on a second watch through, though, I don't feel as strongly about that. I still wish I would have, he would have been back. But knowing that he wasn't back, I was able to far more enjoy the ghost reveals for what they are. The first time, when we went over a little mini review of it, I said, no, I thought the Ghostface reveals kind of landed flat. I don't feel that way anymore. I actually think it was really well set up. I mentioned earlier, I really love the fact that the Ghostfaces act different on the phone, which I don't feel like is something a lot of the other movies have done as well. Yeah. I genuinely, it seems like Quinn is unhinged, and is unhinged whether she's Ghostface or not. And that's kind of a cool little, feature where you go, that had to be Quinn. And then Quinn's kind of the reason they don't win here, because she, gets mad at some quip Sam or Tara says and starts to get fighty and cursing at them, and it gives them opportunities to get away. She's too hot-headed, and they show that in her first that first scene where we know it has to be her. It's cool. It's a really cool thing there. Yeah, I like the movie. I love the core 4. So I'm kind of okay with it being them. I understand people. I could understand if someone was like, no, it doesn't have Sydney, it can't be Scream. I get it to a point, but I don't feel that way. I go, no, it's fun. Scream is more about the vibe you get from it, and this still gives me that. And I really love these new characters. I think all of them in this movie do an amazing job with their roles. So yeah, that's my thoughts.
Yeah. I also really enjoyed this movie. Even more so, I think, on a second time around, knowing that it's not Stu Macher, and being able to, watch it through knowing exactly who the Scream killers were, and then catching all the points throughout the movie where it definitely alludes to them, And at one point, Mindy just straight up calls out who all the killers are during her little monologue. Maybe not, as expertly as she could have, but
Oh, that reminds me of another like scene in that like really adds to the oh crap, they're Ghostface.
yeah.
Quinn's the one who goes, well, no, you guys could be Ghostface, and then Ethan's immediately like, yeah. Well,
Yeah.
Well, it could definitely be Sam. There's those rumors about Sam. It's like, in the moment when you watch it the first time, you're like, oh, okay, that's a reasonable reaction. But knowing you're like, they're trying to push it that way.
Yeah, they're trying to deflect.
And that's awesome. Like, genuinely, this movie is so well written. I'm so happy that we have new Scream movies that are good. Like, this could have really easily went really weird without Kevin Williamson and Wes Craven. And I don't think it did. I think Radio Silence and, the writers are, I forgot their names, Guy Busick and James Vanderbilt. I think both of them, I think all those, 5 people of, producer of Radio Silence and directors of Radio Silence and those 2 writers have made 2 amazing Scream movies. And I'm just, I love it.
I will also say that, I think the core 4, while they aren't, Sydney, Gale, and Dewey, are an excellent new group that we can center around, and I love their chemistry, and I might say something a little bit of a crazy take. I think I like their chemistry more than I like the original 3. I don't know.
I mean, I feel this
I love Dewey. But I think I love these people as a group more than I enjoy Sydney, Gale, and Dewey.
Dewey and Gale, and I love Dewey and Sydney, but Dewey, Gale, and Sydney never felt like a trio because of Gale and Sydney's heat and not liking each other, so it didn't work. So they never felt like a group dynamic. They always would work together in the end, but this feels like. And the thing is, they're both these pairs of siblings are written like siblings, like really well. Like they feel like the way little sibling quips and yes, there's extra elements to why Sam doesn't want to do it, but the Tara wanting her older sister to just let her live her life is just like a normal family thing that happens, and the way she's reacting, seems like a drunk kid who is mad that her sister won't just leave her alone. Like it all feels just so real, and this world feels lived in, and I love it. I mean, it's interesting. I don't think either of these movies top the first one for me, but they easily might be next in that lineup for me. We're rambling at this point. We both love it, and we don't need to say.
If you couldn't tell.
Yeah, if you can't tell, we both love this movie, and I'm excited for Scream 7. I really hope Radio Silence comes back to direct. I don't believe it's been confirmed that they'll be directing, but unless they're completely busy with a different project, I would doubt that won't happen, because
Can't wait till Scream 7 when we get to find out that all of Amber's family is also a bunch of psychotic killers.
I don't know where. That's honestly, I hope it's. Real quick, my pitch for what I think a cool twist on the Scream thing is, I want it to be. I mean, yes, be Stu Macher. Yes, obviously, but I want it, but specifically Stu Macher, because I would love for it to be Stu Macher, because he won't be in their friend group. I love the idea of the reverse twist on the whodunit of there was no way for you to figure it out. Because it's not a friend. It's not anyone they know. It's literally just some killer who has found them and is trying to kill them. Maybe bring Sydney back to extra explain why Stu is specifically targeting these people.
Yeah.
But have it just be it's just Stu alone trying to get revenge on Sydney and the Core 4 by proxy, because now they've survived different ghost faces. So that's my pitch. And
I would love a Stu Macher.
Yeah, don't get me wrong. Yes, it's also me wanting Stu, but I also really like the idea of, and it doesn't have to be Stu if you can find a way to make it make sense. The idea of the reverse whodunit. You always expect in Scream to know, it's one of the friends. It's got to be one of the new people they introduced. So for it to not be, you're thinking the whole movie, oh, is it this person? And then you're at the point where everyone's, dead except for the Core 4, and they're all right here standing or something. Mindy finally gets to be there for the monologue.
Yeah. Mindy is.
And then it's Stu, and she knows who's Stu. I just think I could be really fun. Obviously, yes, I want it to be Stu because I'm a little Stu fanboy.
I think we all want it to be Stu at this point.
Some people don't, I'm sure. Some people don't, or some people don't feel as strongly as we do.
Also, I think it'd be cool for like Stu to have his quote unquote redemption from being like the goofy like right hand man
to hardcore like, evil.
Yeah, just straight up evil psycho.
Yeah.
So, anyways, that's that.
Hey, but actually,
was our
we also Roman Bridger's also not dead, and he's back because he's the director of it all. All right, that's my pitch for Scream 7 is Roman Bridger and Schumacher are back as Ghostfaces. Roman Bridger, who got a gunshot to the head, is back.
I don't think he survived.
Here's the thing: Stu, hypothetically, maybe could be alive. Some people say that a TV fall on your head after. But see, the thing about Stu is, he got stabbed in the side earlier, but he, especially with how this franchise has evolved to somewhat more of an unrealistic expectation, Stu did not take nearly as much damage as some people do, so he easily could be alive in the world of Scream.
Dewey as Chad at this point,
as all of the killers who come back for the second kill.
Yeah,
he got a pretty deep stab wound from Billy, and then he had the TV fall on his head, and but he could have easily been taken to a hospital, and I don't know. The point is, I want Stu back. It probably won't ever happen. But, hey, here's the thing. That's what I want, but I have faith in, the writers,
to make something even
James
better
and Guy,
than what we might want.
I think James and Guy are starting to work on a script. Just Radio Silence hasn't been attached to it yet because they have to have their first pass of the script done first before that kind of process starts. So, yeah, I'm excited. I trust them because these movies have been great. What are we talking about next week though, Chris? Do you know? Do you remember? I think I told you. Do you remember though?
I know what you did.
That's right, because it's 4th of July, baby, and we're talking about the I Know What You Did Last Summer franchise, 3 movies.
I remembered.
It's we almost covered it last year, but I was like, it actually doesn't make sense for us not to do it till after we cover Scream, and now we just covered Scream 6. It's post Scream exactly. It's time to watch them. So yeah, next summer, next summer,
we're gonna talk about I Know What You Did Last Summer.
No, next week we're gonna watch I Know What You Did Last Summer, and then we're gonna watch the 2 sequels the weeks following it. If you like this podcast, thanks. That's cool. Also, leave a 5-star review on any podcast app you want. If you want to see our pretty little faces, head on over to youtube.com/@horrorboys, where we upload a video version of the podcast every time.
Yeah, and this week is especially special because now I've got white hair.
That's true.
Which, if you haven't been watching up to this point, probably means nothing to you.
That's right.
But now I've got white hair. That's something to look at.
If you want to support us directly, you can give us money on patreon.com/horrorboys. That'd be cool because,
please give us money.
Cheap.
They're most of the time not free.
Yeah, most of them aren't. Chris has had to, rent I Know What You Did Last Summer next week because I own it. But I only own 1 copy, so
I'm gonna have to budget that into my expenses.
So you should give us money on Patreon.
Yeah, so that can be budgeted.
And hey, did you know you also if you give more, if you give $1, yeah, you're just helping us out. If you give up to at least $5, you get the podcast early. Most weeks.
Yeah, unless it was this week.
Yeah, unless it's this week. Normally you get it at least a day early. Today you'll get it maybe 12 hours early.
Yeah.
We'll see, because I don't really have time to edit it right now. So, yeah. I've been Austin, joined by Chris. We'll see you next week. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.